or down back today?
It's down back, as Dean Cox told us, but it doesn't mean the forward experiment's ended. I just think while there's players out the moment, especially Lewis Malik and Logan McDonald, when he comes back, might be tried in the back line. But tonight he starts back. He's had some great clashes against Nick Larkey previously, so expect that matchup, Gas.
So you reckon it's not over, though? You think that the forward experiment's not... There's a few of the boys have called it and said never to return back. You think it's still a possibility?
Well, it wasn't a failure on his end. You know, Sydney weren't playing that well up the field. They weren't getting much ball inside forward 50. So I think it's through necessity at the moment. But obviously tonight, his pure focus will be that man who's been in pretty good form. Kicked 12 goals, Gaz, first 3 weeks. Most accurate goal kicker, one of the most accurate goal kickers we've ever seen in our game.
Sensational. It'll be great to watch him. Jack Darling's come along and given him a nice chop out.
He's been great, hasn't he, Gaz? Yeah, and I think it's really helped him because Nick's strength is not necessarily the bang and crash type key position player. He's more of a leader. But just Darling's being able to take the attention of opposition defenders, Gaz, and that helps Larkey play more his natural role.
Yeah, and some queried their recruitment of Jack Darling, but it's a nice feeling for Clarkson and his team to be able to just slot Darling into their 450 alongside Larkey and know they're going to get a contest every time. And this in the end works so really beautifully well against Melbourne.
It's been a good spread of goal kickers, hasn't it? Not only those 2 key position boys, but Curtis has been good, and Zerha as well.
What about the coaches? We interview lots of coaches pre-game as we get the toss of the coin.
Call. It's a heads. Easy. Got about a minute and a half.
Simpkin wins.
With year 2 as captain.
He's had a sensational year, but we had Chris Scott Friday night, and he walked out and told us straight away Mark Blitzar's not playing, and they've activated the sub. He's the old experienced head. We asked Coxie who might James Jordan go to. He says one of them. I love that. And there's a bit of a gap in experience between these two, Dwayne.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great night, really, for these 2 teams when you look at it, given they can be 2-2. Both teams coming into this 1 win, 2 losses as we head downstairs to another 3-time premiership star, part of our team, Cameron Mooney. Welcome to your Moons.
Good evening, gentlemen. Yeah, it's great to be down here at the moment. Look, obviously we know it's great conditions down here. It's great conditions for scoring, and that's exactly what North Melbourne have brought to the table this year. They were only averaging 70 points last year, but this year already, and we know it's only a small sample size, guys, but already averaging 5 goals more a game. And that's because they're attacking their way. They're attacking off the half-back line. Caleb Daniel has been outstanding with ball in hand. You go to the middle of the ground, Luke Parker, the addition of him in the middle of the ground. They're now the #1 team for scoring out of centre bounces. And then, as you guys just pointed out, Jack Darling down there helping out Larkey and those guys down there. For years, it's been very easy to defend their forward line because you double and triple team Larkey and the likes down there. Now with Darling there, you can't triple team them, you can't double team them, and that's giving them a lot of one-on-one looks down there, Brownie. That's exactly what you want from a forward.
So early days with Chad Warner starting outside the centre square, so he's gone to 450, and the other one there is Harry Sheasel is outside the centre square. He's gone to half-back, so whether they spend too much time there remains to be seen, but not there for this opening centre bounce. Massive game tonight.
Super Saturday Live under the roof at Marvel Stadium. Roos fans are pouring in. Sydney always well represented. The South Melbourne fans are here. Cherry and Grundy in the middle. There is Parker. Comes out to power with the first clearance of the evening. McKercher behind Roberts. And tackled by Simpkin.
So let's watch it. Luke McDonald grabbed Chad Warner. Now Warner's come up from half forward and will be around this stoppage. Luke McDonald's come half of the way. McKercher looks like he's got a little bit of responsibility there. Sheasel also pushes up, so didn't last long.
Right bottom captaining the Swans tonight. Heaney can't burst his way through.
Certainly looks as if Parker's just going to stay close to Heaney. LDU is going to try and get on the back of Heaney to try and break that tag.
Yes, a little bit of ringer rosy at the moment. They're all trying to sort themselves out. It's a fun watch. Making me dizzy. Free kick in the end. Grundy gets it. Good crowd in. North Melbourne fans are excited about what the season might bring. Warner couldn't quite break free. Did in the end, got it to Jordan, but he was caught. Crowd screaming ball. Umpire will have none of it.
So Jordan definitely going to LDU. So, and Luke Parker will find his way to Heaney. So those 2 matchups in the middle will be interesting.
Probably leading the best and fairest, I think, James Jordan for Sydney's been outstanding.
It's always interesting playing your first team for the first time, and Luke Parker did not miss there with a tackle.
Premiership star with both North and the Cats. Cameron Mooney downstairs. Wicks been playing great footy in defence this year. Slams it on the boot, gets it to half forward, and we'll get another ball in.
Spot on, Dwayne. Sam Wicks, you would have thought he'd gone back. He's more of a natural small forward, especially with Tom Papley out at the moment, but he's been fantastic. Started there in the pre-season, and he's had some scalps throughout. He's up on Josh Simpkin at the moment, the captain. He's also had a good year for North.
Grundy front position. There's the chat, no room clear.
So Simpkin starts outside the square, and now as a high half forward comes up, but Wicks goes with him the whole way. So they're not going to let Josh Simpkin play around the footy without an opponent.
Powell started the game nicely, tight on the boundary line, tries to fashion a right foot ball, and wasn't able to keep it in play.
Blakey.
Just watching the Jordan LDU contest at the moment. That is a really tough one. There's a lot going on off the ball at the moment.
So Chad Warner, Florent, middle of the ball, straight through the traffic. Powell did brilliantly to Scott. Sawed him a puppy there. Curtis through hands. Parker had a sneaky opportunity, gets it back. Blasts it long, goal square. McCartan gets back, and that's why they sent him back to do that.
Marks strongly immediately, comes to the near side. Heaney covering plenty of ground early.
Missed opportunity there, Howie. They turned the footy over in a great spot in the middle of the ground. The Curtis was the one running free at the time, and a little bit more composure. They could have hit him up inside 50.
Jordan down the wing. Flyers come late. Grundy was looking for a free kick for the hold. Daniel, LDO, Comben. Got James Jordan for company.
They've been a real positive back there, Charlie Comben, as an intercept marking defender. Spent some time early in his career as a forward, but a big positive.
Yeah, sixth season in footy for Charlie Comber, but missed that whole year with the broken leg. He's having an outstanding year at half back into play. Sherry, Grundy, both missed it. Fell to Florent. Hammers inside 50. Amati gets up. Lowe with the fist. McLean with the sidestep. Handed it over to Warner. He bends it too far. Goes Corey.
So Sheasel, Sheasel's opponent on that occasion. He, Caleb Daniel, sharing it a bit. But you've got to make sure that when you do lose possession, you've got to track them back the other way.
Here is Sheasel. Powell provides the short option. Roadbottom's on his hammer, so he doesn't take it. Elects to go to the city side wing. Lark will be the flyer late, hits the pack hard. Curtis. Now North moving forward with a powerful Zerha. Wants to turn and go.
Sherry's got forward aggressively, got Florent as his opponent. They should go long with him. Now Grundy gets back.
So again, they switch. Want to get into the hands of Sheasel, sitting back to half back to allow his possessions to be more damaging. Chip to McDonald, and they might actually damage here. So McKercher normally hits a target. Gee, went for the chest mark there. Larky normally sticks his hands out. It was difficult height maybe for hands up, hands down.
Two big wins for Tom McCartan. Intercept mark, and then on a hard lead, gets a hand in there. That's a great start for the fullback.
A wrestle, Cherry and Grundy, who just pushed him aside after the ball had left the area. Sheasel back to Comben on the 1-2. Happy to give up ground. It's the powerfully built Griffin Logue. Parker hasn't heard the whistle. Jordan's heard the whistle and he's got him dead. Advantage paid. Here they go. The Swans short ball inside. Hayward, he'll go back and line him up.
Well, can't complain you didn't hear it. The umpire was standing right beside you. So I think he tried to maybe fool everyone around him, but the Sydney boys were all over it. They went straight to Luke Parker, their old teammate. Good turnover.
41 goals, 16 last year for Hayward. 3 goals for the season. Directly in front. Opener for the Swans.
A few of these turnovers last week in the back half, North Melbourne, they would have ruled against Adelaide when they were sort of staying in the game, but that's just an unforced error there. So Luke Parker, experienced player, needs to do a better job there. We know the umpires are red hot on this, on the 15-metre kick, so just need to get rid of that. It was good awareness there by James Jordan. Well done.
Chad Warner just letting him know. So,
He'd hate that against his whole team.
yeah, he would hate that, giving up a goal like that. But the Sheasel decision to go back is a really interesting one. He's had 6 possessions already, Harry Sheasel. Tom Power with 3, and everyone else has had 2.
It's literally in the centre bounce this time, guys. But you're right, late last week they put him to half back. Just looks like trying to get his confidence up, and I'm sure he'll still probably do some centre bounces.
And Warner's with him as well, so both of them started in the D or 450.
Grundy on the back pedal. Don't have any friends to give it to. And I'll get the clearance. LDU from Sheasel, who's playing a pretty good game so far. Had some good possession games earlier this season, but not as dominant with his possessions as he would like. Turnover though, Lloyd in the right spot at the right time, as he so often is.
Whitlock with his first possession, unfortunately turned it over. A rangy customer low gets front position. Amati allowed him to sneak in front. Now to Tucker. Black armbands for Andrew Cracker and Marge Aylett. The wife of the great Alan Aylett. Scott in the middle of Marvel. Just pops it forward. McCartan and Blakey flies hard at it.
See, they
Free
missed
kick
his-
at the top too. Constanti wants to get right into Blakey.
Well, the reason he's so upset, Constanti, is that he made a magnificent lead. Was on his own 20 metres in clear air, and they went straight over his head.
Well, the reason he's also grumpy is because he was on the Swans list for 2 years and they didn't give him a game. And standing, no wonder you'd be grumpy.
They've just got to get value for their inside 50s here.
Kircher dumped. No front-on contact free. Zerha had it, lost it. Grundy gives it up. Chad Warner gives it to his brother. Good movement this from the Swans. Hayward wants it back. Ignored by Campbell. Great target hitter. Didn't have anything long. Only got some shorts. Went way too short. Went to Scott. To McDonald. He launches toward half forward. Little nudge out on Hamling. No free. Play on. Hanson Jr. a sneaky chance. But the Lizard too good. Takes off and hits his target perfectly, Hayward.
It's held up at the moment. North Melbourne was set up well beyond the ball. That's why Sydney just has to go slow. The Lizard, how good's that, guys? You would have loved that.
Good sides hurt you on turnover, and the Kangaroos have had a couple of really great opportunities on turnover and just haven't been able to hit the scoreboard.
Bilateral to Lloyd. 30-metre chip is effective. Into the hands of Braden Campbell. The leads come. Hayward's calling for a deep. Just takes a bit off into the pocket to Lloyd.
So Laddams has taken Comben, who's been the intercept marking king for the Kangaroos in this early part of the season. He takes him straight to the goal square to get him away from the 30 to 50 area where he's dominated. He's in the goal square at the moment.
Two-time BNF winner, the Eyes were darting. Going to be right on distance for Jake Lloyd. 43 career goals in 252 matches before today. Drifts out to the right, takes the extra yardage and hooks it going for the distance. Never looked comfortable from 50.
Here's the collision between the old teammates, Constanti and Blakey. So they're trying to get it to the free side if they can. Coleman's on his own, but they go to Core instead. They've also got Whitlock on his own if they want to launch it, but they stick to that fat side instead. Simpkin knocks it to ground. Swans have blocked it up perfectly. Wicks dumps it, launched it. Laddams, Amati, both waiting for it. Core collects it. Heaney collects him, but it was all illegal.
It's been a good strength of Sydney so far early in this season. And Dean Cox, that they've limited teams from being able to move the ball from one end of the ground to the other. It's been on show so far.
Cherry. Hurried clearing kick only as far as Wicks. Got inboard options, looks for Florin. It's an aggressive ball. Florin plays on immediately, chipping from 45. Good finish. Swans are away with the first couple.
Fantastic finish, and Rowney's point there has just been illustrated. So the ball can't get out of the defensive 50, the defensive half of the Kangaroos. One of the problems was, and Dwayne identified it really well, they are set up for the change of direction now, their back half, every single time. And when you don't go, by sheer weight of numbers, you're going to an outnumber.
Smaller numbers, yeah.
So they went down the line to an outnumber. Ball comes back in. The finish from Florent outstanding. So he's spending a lot more time through the middle of the ground playing as a winger. 64% game time on the wing. Ollie Florent. Now he's played essentially as a half-back in recent years. So up the ground, a bit more creative, nice finish.
Great kick by Wicks, wasn't it? Across him. That was fantastic.
Yeah, so Wicks has essentially taken his spot in the back half. Florent can push up, become more effective through the middle of the ground.
In the ball up. Lundy lays a strong tackle. So
We've seen those high half-backs in the competition this year. Think of Jack Sinclair, the playing half-back goes, but they're really forward half players. Sam Wicks, probably doing the same thing. He's up on the back of Simpkin. You look at that stoppage, look how high up he is and dangerous.
advantage paid. Hayward gets on the end of the Warner pass. So Darling's in the ruck now for North, and there's a ruck experience differential between he and Grundy.
That's an extraordinary mark, Rainer. That's a high leaping chest mark from Will Hayward in the end. I think he just got up that high in the end. He was sort of committed to it and couldn't go with the hands, and instead took it on the chest.
Already got one. Swans are fresh, coming off a bye. North coming off that 6-day break.
Great.
And that's a gem. He's got two. North have problems.
They have Dwayne, because the centre-bounce situation has gone North Melbourne's way. They've only been inside 52 times. That's the issue for us. So this is the problem sometimes when you go with a ruck that's not a full-time ruck. From that point on, you're in a bit of trouble. And then this mark. That is an unbelievable chest mark over the top of the Badencourt's head, and the finish is superb. So fantastic start for Dean Cox's men.
Hayward's got a couple alongside Florent. Early concerns, 3 goals. North yet to hit the board. You're just joining us, the subs. Hardiman, who was a lady in yesterday, and Angus Sheldrick for the Swans. And Whitlock's on debut. Laddams patrols around. Darling tried to get the Simpkin.
Yeah, certainly a challenge too for Jack Darling, because he wouldn't have played much time in the ruck, probably since junior footy goes. Didn't do it for West Coast.
He's outsized by Laddams.
Last week he was challenged too by Riley O'Brien.
Falls hip out of the middle. This is an issue for the Kangas.
Rowbottom sends it deep. The clean comes. Amati landed on his chest. Didn't expect it. Low goes to ground. Tucker with a bit of speed. Hurried clearing ball. And towards the flank. Constanti does well. Former Swan. Cleary. Getting involved is Tom Hanley.
He's squeezing up hard. It's hard for North Melbourne at the moment, because when they look up,
Constanti
the legs out a little bit there.
Constanti gave him to Shepherd, but it's not getting around the broomstick. He's a fairly thin dude.
Sydney are really taking out all the options. So for the North Melbourne defenders trying to bring the ball out, it's really challenging. You're just seeing red and white jumpers.
Darling took it but didn't deliver it. Cheezel spins out of a bind. The old 1-2 works. And the leader, Curtis, this looks positive. Normally creative. Daniel, Cheezel wreaking havoc. They need to score from all this. Curtis on the move. LDU pocket missed him. Way up front.
First time they've been able to go the distance, one end of the ground to the other. And Brownie put some chains together, and then the missed kick. It'd be frustrating.
Let's spend some time in their forward half now. They have to lock it down.
Sheasel setting up. Already 10 disposals, 4 kicks, 100% efficiency.
It's their opportunity. Strong stoppage team, North.
Adams grabs it out of the ruck. Wafts it into the middle of Marvel Stadium. Caw's got a bit of time. Don't take too much, Aiden. Back to the former Docker in Tucker. And Stevens. Serhar's trying to create space forward the ball. Stevens elects to go long. Shallow entry. Darling will stay down. Zips out to Parker. By hand. Zerha. Course.
Still not a great handball from Luke Parker. I know they're trying to share it and buzz it around, but he's got eyes essentially forward. He gives it to someone with their back to the goals.
So push Sheasel up around the ball here as well to try and get a clearance. And he lays a tackle here. holding the ball. So Schuster was the second tackler. Parker was the first. Takes off and slams it long. It's got Curtis, Larkey, free kick, hold, North ball. Suddenly 30,000 turned up.
Yeah, challenge the top of the goal square. This is about Luke Parker's MO on that time. It's just to go long and hard, and wasn't going to be trying to be too cute with it.
I don't think the Lizard is happy with the call, guys.
No, I'm sure he's not. Sometimes you get one that goes for you.
2 goals against Adelaide, 3 against the Dogs, 3 against Melbourne. He's been hot. Paul Curtis.
He needed that one. It was good. They lost the right contest to Jack Darling. Sydney got it out, but North were able to turn the ball back over and get straight back in their forward half. Need to spend some time in there. He's the free kick to Paul Curtis. He's a young star of the future coming up. I think he could develop into one of the best small forwards in the competition, guys. He's had a good start to the season. Just the grab there by Tommy McCartan, who was conscious of Nick Larkey.
The good judges. There are good judges around who tell you that this guy's on. He's right there. He's right there, Paul Curtis. And
X Factor, Gary, is what he's got.
all of that. Yeah, you saw the hand go over the shoulder. I mean, sometimes they're played, sometimes they're not. And then occasionally get to the blood ball here from James Rowan. I'm sure they'll get that sorted out quickly.
So a goal just to calm things down. The Roo boys, after giving up the first 3, Hode's already kicked a couple. LJU just powers his way out of the middle. North fans will be happy with that. Pushing and shoving over there. Constantly goes to ground. He should get the ball. But he's powered him without realising. He's up against his own teammates. He's got the free.
He's got the angry pills on, hasn't he? Fantastic.
I think the point is 100% on the money. He thinks he should have been playing this bloke for the last 2 years, and he's got 2 years worth of pent-up frustration. And he's not real fussed to who he hands it out to either.
Drops it into the pocket. Larky's on the lead. The dangerous Curtis. Hanson Jr. on hands and knees.
You don't necessarily like all your teammates. So is he settling scores, Gary? He might be running around just picking by two. I wasn't a big fan of him, wasn't a big fan of him.
I'm certain he is, John.
Scramble. Parker didn't quite strike that as well as he would have liked. Darling didn't quite have the strength to break away. Holding the ball. Had enough prior opportunity for that to be paid to Lloyd to take it full back for the Swans. But they've got a game now. Larky got there, cut it off. Danger. Darling meeting the sandwich and they'll reset with the ball up.
There's a problem last year for Sydney as well. Even though they made it to the grand final, those defensive turnovers, those almost unforced error kicks out their defensive 50. Even Nick Larkey, they just need to be better at that. Just go the long option.
Constantine was the chap that was involved with the wrestle with Callum Mills post-season when he had the shoulder issue.
No wonder they got rid of him.
He's a loose cannon. Look out.
The Kangaroos have ramped this up here, but they just have really, the last 5 minutes, just put some pressure on Sydney. Sydney can't exit. They're back 50 at the minute.
Sherry down to Parker. Back to Scott. Has a little bit of room to move. Off the instep barrel. Needs a bounce. Darling Parker against his own side. Oh, you love that, Lukey Parker. Normally in red and white, now in blue and white. The Kangaroos are on the way back.
It's like he's kicked his first ever goal. Look at him. Look at him come for him. Luke Parker. Great call, Howie. And then right in front, he's gone straight to water too. It's just have a little bit of that in front of the North Melbourne faithful. So
that's made up for the mistake earlier where he gave up that tackle, Gaz, and it was a free shot of goal in front for Sydney. So
he's kicked 214 goals, Brown. I reckon you might enjoy that one. And my Apple Watcher said, loud environment, sound level hit 90 decibels. So there you go.
Is that me or the crowd?
That's a bit of both. It was magnificent, and this is the stuff you dream of when you go up against your old team. And his ability to get one around the corner here is first rate. This is a reward for effort. So they're just a little bit off the pace in those first 5 or 10 minutes, couldn't get their hands on it. Now they've ramped some pressure up, and there you go.
Go back to Larky, guys. It was a little interceptor that kept the ball in there.
That's it for 2 moons. You've got to identify when you've got pressure, and Nick Larky did. He was awake and aware.
Big clash there in the centre, Sherry and Grundy. Grundy hasn't had the best start to the season.
Sherry sends it long. Larky comes at it and out. On the carton. Brilliant grab. Gave up a 3-goal start, North, but they're hot now. McCartan holds it up.
It was huge late in the game against Fremantle 2 weeks ago. Tommy McCartan Probably got Sydney over the line.
Nice. And the 26 from Melbourne by Luke Parker. Now Lloyd just saying, let's just calm things down a touch. Nothing inboard. Adams is at the back of the pack, cleans at the front, but the impressive Common takes a good contested mark.
Just got to bring that to ground there. There's 2v1 against Common. Grundy needs to make a better fist of that.
He did look to switch it, but sticks to that side of the ground. Fist of Rampy, kind of missed it, it skinned his knuckles. By call for it.
Various numbers, 11-5 in favour of North Melbourne.
Grundy with a slap down. Heaney trying to get involved. Got a little roll up. Whitlock. Good collect. Got it to Coleman. In turns Daniel. Wrapped up quickly. Going nowhere, but it's a good contest to watch right now.
10 for Sheasel, 7 for Parker, 6 for Lloyd. On the disposal count, there's another one for Parker. Daniel, and 11th for Sheasel. Whitlock fashions a kick but turns over to Lloyd.
Sherry down at the moment. Umpire's going to stop play as they try and sort him out. They don't want this man off. The clearance situation is very much in their favour. 12-6 to the Kangaroos and 4-zip from centre bounce. So they need the big boy that will be up and about.
Dropping in defensive 50 at the moment, looks to be okay. Lloyd, short to Cleary. Into the side this week, Simpkin stands the mark, back to Roberts. He's got Bice.
Not only in looks number 26, but they picked him up in the draft with the pick they got for the Parker trade to North. Vice squeezes it to Campbell. That's a delight, that kick.
Magnificent kick. Yeah, you love that as a forward.
He was magnificent against Freo as well. When the whips were cracking Brownie, this boy, he's had to bide his time before he got on an AFL list, and he has not put a foot wrong. He was superb late in that last quarter, and that's the sort of stuff, as you say, big key forward or any forward. Just licks their lips up.
Yeah, Vice, a 24-year-old, first season of the AFL from the Ovens of Murray and Werribee. Braden Campbell, normally a sharp shooter, but not this time.
Last 5 clearances to North, and 3 of them have been to Luke Parker. So the former Swan just making a bit of a statement.
Daniel to reset. Core. Back to whence it came. He's forced to kick down the line. Some touch off the instep. Through the hands of Parker. Rampy.
6 scores from 8 entries for the Swans. That would be the only concern for the Kangas at the minute, or one of.
Very one-on-one game. One-on-ones all over the field. No spares, dropping back.
Howe trying to work hard and tight. In great form this year. Handball out to some space. Hanley couldn't handle it. Daniel does. She's on another possession. Quick fire. Scott trying to give it back for the 1-2. Coming back to Scott. Half back flank. Off the inside kick and hits it. Not the required. Told to go Tucker. Good fake. Has a bounce. And now gives to Scott. Loops it. Simpkin. Further on to Zerhard. Did he keep it alive? The umpire said he did. He sold it. He sold it to me. He sold it to the umpire. Gets it inside 50 to Powell. Outside of the boot. And that's a win for North. They can reset with the ball in.
Some good ball movement, wasn't it? Just take territory by hand.
Big ball crashing through there. And then kicked that bloke's arms off, the Sydney fella.
Hammer, was it?
Hammer, yeah. Tommy Powell's had a good start of the season as well. One of these young midfielders coming through for North Melbourne.
Watch out for Curtis, dangerous around the goals. Here he comes now, grabs it off. Grundy and push it back out the other way. It's a clearing ball from Hanley, but straight to the Kangaroos. They're set up nicely behind the ball. McDonald wants to keep the ball moving. Larkey will stay down. Darling. Big Rutland's caught with a footy. McCartan as well. Here comes Curtis again.
That handling kick is one that frustrates coaches no end, and it's an inability to look up the ground when you've got time to see what's behind the footy. If they look up now, they'll see Luke McDonald standing on his own.
Cherry, Simpkin, kick smothered, ricochet. Simpkin got it back, they got him. More fans wanted holding the man. Wicks doesn't keep it alive, and it's a ball in. Cherry's up and fit, which is good. He got the knock last week and had a knock to check his leg, but half fit this week, which is good news.
Some passion out there.
That's so good.
Some passion.
Cherry about to go at it with Grundy. They size each other up. Big pack around it. Knock to the front. Simpkin edged out of it. In the scramble. Robot normally doing the tackling. Now he's in turn tackled by Parker. Another ball up.
Not much room to move out here. Both pressure from both teams been very good.
Swans kicked the first 3. Hayward got 2 of those before Curtis and Parker replied. Advantage taken by the skipper Rowbottom. Paul's got work to do. He's got options by hand. Back to McDonald. Retreats.
Disappointing kick. Really disappointing kick. Again, you're kicking to an out number, so you hang the footy back.
Daniel, good user. McKercher, the future of the club.
Closed everything up, the Swans. They know they're trying to change direction here. They got the switch covered.
He runs himself into trouble. Works out nicely in Curtis. Got front position. Took it on the chest. It's an aggressive ball, but it's a good one to Zerha. Larky wants it. It's a low sizzler. He's turning straight over to Roberts.
Lloyd. Heaney.
Oh, they're out here.
Oh, he's blasted it over the back. McLean's on his own. But Cleary in the goal square. He thought about it, but says no. I've got this covered. Hayden McLean.
It's just going to be a matter of you can find a player with great penetration. Their kicking goes to get over the top. McLean was there for an age. Finally, Heaney was the man that got it, and we know he's got great power in his kick and was able to get it over the top. Look at this for a kick.
So Sydney scoring for turnover and the Kangaroos scoring for stoppage, which is the way we thought coming into this game.
2 goals last week against Fremantle, which is Sydney's only win so far this season. Struck that magnificently. They get a nerve settle.
Yeah, that's good. Accuracy's been down this year for the Swans, guys.
Yeah, well, this is the sort of pattern of the game that's emerging at the moment. Now, they can score from turnover because they're ball users when they're on. Like those 2 other kicks that we saw were no good because they were just blasting away.
Well, look at the ruck contest. They've been into each other all night, these 2.
Yeah, it's a big one. Jerry's had a fantastic season. All-Australian contention last year. Grundy's been down a little bit, so you'd expect Grundy to be pumped up for this. But oh yes, a little whack there. It was fair and love and war there. You expect that between the big boys. Competing very hard at the moment. Free kick there to Cherry. So, yeah, that's going to be a great battle throughout the night.
They go at it again. Grundy's appealing for the free, and he's got it. But Sherry can't believe what he's seen.
It's 1 all.
Grundy takes a bounce, plays on. He might have a second, or he's nearly run too far. Sends it deep. Lifts to the back. Whitlock takes on a couple. Stands up nicely under pressure. Clearing ball from McDonald. Curtis tries to access the ball. Does well to bring it to ground. Underground hand pass. Heaney. Danger here for the Roos. Good smother. Falls to Florent. Already kicked one little chip inside. Amani takes a grab.
Isaac Heaney getting dangerous, guys. He's been influential around the middle of the ground. Luke Parker trying to get his body to him early in the game. Heaney just starting to have an influence. So he takes the mark there. Moments ago, he set up the Hayden McLean goal with that beautiful kick. Just getting going. Had a slow start to the season.
The alarm bells for the Kangaroos in the coach's box. The old turnover button will be flashing red. 20 points to 0 from turnover so far, quarter to quarter.
5 goals, 3. Kicked that big bag of 9 against Adelaide last year. Amani tugs it a touch. No problem. Sydney go bang, bang to open it up again.
The good thing is McLean and Amani back-to-back goals. That's what they need throughout the season. Hayward's already hit the scoreboard as well. So those 3 boys need to be probably 30, 40 plus would be nice, guys.
Yeah, they worked really hard to get themselves back into the contest. North to give up these 2 goals with 5 seconds on the clock would hurt. Comben wants to play back, and we spoke about this early. He wants to be the intercept player. They tried to get away with it last week against Adelaide, and the coaching structure of Adelaide just played him on a break. If he's going to play back shoulder like that or try and anticipate where the ball's going, you have to then make him pay for those decisions. So to hit Marty up, that helps you in so many ways going forward. And now Charlie Comben, he's sitting there going, what's my role here? Do I continue to try and read the play? Do I continue to try and fill a hole?
Very rarely see the 2 rucks touching each other before the bounce, but they do again here. Second stick down, we've got a couple left. Unless there's something crazy here, it'll be quarter time without any addition. 2 rucks tie up again, and there's a push and shove. There might be something crazy here. They're all into it. Parker trying to sort it out.
There's been some feeling today in this first quarter.
Well, there's a bit on it. Both these teams only 1 win for the season, and the winner of this game will be in the top 8 at the conclusion of it. They'll sort that out. We'll sort it out as well in front of a big crowd here at Marvel at quarter time. Good contest, and they do start to break with a couple of smiles at least. 5-3 plays 2 straight at quarter time.
All right, there we go, folks. It's quarter time here at Marvel Stadium. It's the Sydney Swans doing it nicely, 5-3-33. North Melbourne, the home team, 2 goals straight, 12. Of course, the Swans came out with a bit of a flurry for the opening 3 goals of the term. Did the Swans, and of course, North Melbourne quickly got 2 goals back. Got back within about 8 points, but then Sydney put the foot on the metal to the pedal, as they say again. Got the final 2 goals of the opening term. The Swans by 21 points. Welcome in, everyone. Ryan, g'day, young man. Tina, Devon Mackey, Sheldy. I think it's the first time I've seen you. How you doing? Welcome into the live stream here. Of course, a beautiful day here in Melbourne. 12 degrees, Marvel Stadium. Of course, this is the stadium where they do have a roof, and the roof is closed. They just don't open the roof here. I don't know why. It'd be a beautiful night for the roof to be open. There we go. Just have a little bit of a look at the ins and outs, of course, for the both teams. As you see, North Melbourne here on the left. The ins coming in were Griffin Logie, Riley Hardman, Matt Whitlock. Going out with Toby Pink. There you go. Will Phillips and Finn O'Sullivan. New is Matty Whitlock, and the sub was Riley Hardman. Of course, the milestone game, Matt Whitlock, well, it's his debut game. Of course, we jump over to Sydney. Caden Cleary is the in, and Tom Papley, the little pocket rocket, is out for the Swans. The sub is Angus Sheldrick. That is your lineups. Let's go and have a little bit of a look at the player stats. Let me get on the goal scorers. We'll see who's scoring the goals. Of course, Will Hayward, the only multiple goal scorer there for the Sydney Swans. He's kicked 2. Hayden McLean, Oliver Florent, and Joel Armady are the single goal scorers for Sydney. For North Melbourne, we see Luke Parker's got one. There we go, Luke Parker, the ex-Sydney Swans player. You'd be happy to get that one out of the way. Paul Curtis is the other goal scorer there. Just have a look at the disposal count. What's going on? Harry Sneasel, I'll tell you what, he's a star there for North Melbourne, Harry Sneasel. He tops the table with 12. 4 kicks, 8 handballs, 2 marks, a tackle, 3 clearances is Harry. Luke Parker, good to see him with some figures on the opening quarter. He's had 8. He's had 4 and 4, 3 tackles, 4 clearances, and a sausage roll. That's a goal, folks. That's a good opening turn for him. Jakey Lloyd, the best for Sydney so far with 8 disposals. As you can see, with all these leading disposal getters on the ground, all North Melbourne in the blue, all the way down here. Probably the top 15 or about, here we go, 15 of the top 19, North Melbourne. Interesting, Sydney still lead. All right, let's continue go. Brodie Grundy, just on 4 possessions, 2 and 2, 7 hit outs. We want to see Brodie Grundy get back to his scintillating form like we can know he can produce for the Swans. Of course, he's got that good running power, has the ruckman there for Sydney. Nick Blakey on 4 is the Lizard, 2 and 2. Jai Simkin there with 3 for the Roos. Colby McKercher on 2. There we go, as we go down. That is your player stat. There we go. Corey Warner, I just wanted to have a look at him, and Chad. Corey and Chad Warner, both, look at that, both with 3 disposals, 1 kick each, 2 handballs each. There we go. Brothers, they like doing a little bit similar, don't they? All right, there we go. All right, that is quarter time, folks. We're only a minute away from the bounce of the ball to the second quarter. It's the Sydney Swans by 21 points. We'll get back down to the ground, and they'll take us into the bounce of the ball for the second quarter.
18 seasons as Hawthorn coach and 4 premierships. Coached as many flags as Dean Cox has coached games. So far, so good for the Swans. Took quarter time, 21 points the margin. They steadied with 2 late goals.
Yeah, so if you go in the coach's box at quarter time, the Sydney Swans, Dean Cox would be sitting there looking at his board here, and he'd be thrilled with that top level there. Points for turnover, he's plus 26 already. So that comes about with what you do with the ball in your forward half. So the Swans are kicking at 77% in their front half, so setting them up, hitting targets. Conversely, the Kankers are at 40%. So they'll take that. You know, coming into this, you looked at it and said one's a great clearance side, one's more inclined to score from turnover. And that box is being ticked. What about for the Kangas, Brownie?
That's right, their front half turnovers too, aren't they, Gaz? So, look, centre bounce dominance is where North Melbourne's told their story this year. That's been their strength. But they've won centre bounces 4-1, but they haven't been able to score from those centre bounces. So I think Sydney will be happy with that, Gaz. No question about that. And they've obviously got to limit Sydney's turnover game.
Moons.
Very interesting down here, guys. McCartan starting on the bench. Obviously, that matchup with Larkey has been the big one. It's been a big win for Sydney with that turnover game that you're talking about, boys. But right now, starting on the bench, about to find out why that is.
Yeah, that is a surprise. So Joel Hamilling's gone to Nick Larkey. Larkey hasn't touched the footy in the first quarter, so Tommy McCartan dominated him.
Second turn. Gave up the last couple, did the Roos. David Gignac wants to do something about that with a high ball inside 50. Here is Larkey. It's a second attempt at it. The accurate one can't bring it to ground. Hamling, now Roberts round the corner. Here's an important ball to be won. The Swans attack it. Send it up the wing. Good contest here. Comben, McLean. Comben goes back by hand. Logue, and now the Roos.
Handled inside by Tucker. Good strip. Got away with that in the end. Davies Uniac with a bit of core strength. To Comben, to Daniel. And the switch is on. They started with Laddams in the ruck as well, the Swans. This is Whitlock, the debutant. So Laddams starting this second term as their number 1 ruck. Grundy having a rest. Laddams against Sherry, who's in this contest with Laddams. Ball fell to Blakey. Inside the Laddams, the man we're speaking of. Here turn to Bice. Haywood. Trying to roam, got around McKercher. Heads wide, McLean's up. Coleman with him. Ball skips to the back. Cleary attacked it hard, but maybe too hard a pace. The ball out of play will get a ball in.
They got great confidence in Laddams. The game is row bottom in the room live at the moment, so maybe he had a blood rule, so maybe the change of blood. Laddams, when the game was on the line, played in the ruck, and Grundy was subbed out against Fremantle in that last quarter, so they have no problem at all in turning the Laddams at this stage.
Sherry runs into a teammate, just piles into Whitlock. Larkey can't get second hip sentences. High ball inside 50. Low comes back with the flight. Haywood's already kicked 2. Dangerous snap from Haywood. What type of bounce does he get? Doesn't matter because they would use there.
Set up so low behind the ball, Sydney, at the moment. So North are finding it really difficult to get out of their back half. Every time they look up, they would feel like Sydney has got an extra 2, maybe 3 defenders. And they haven't been able to slice their way back in through the corridor. They've been very disciplined, the Sydney midfielders and forwards blocking up the corridor.
Stevens, another ex-Swan in this North lineup. Good mark taken by Bice. The wipe of the hands on the pants by Blakey before taking possession. Dainty little kick, but spilled by Sherry. Did the hard work, got in the hole and then dropped to Sharon. Warner made him play to Lloyd. Holding possession. Clearing. into the lineup this week. Happily, the big out, really for the Swans, and Lloyd. That's a hole. Took control of that.
That's why North haven't scored a point from turnover in this match so far. They've had a gilt-edged opportunity again, and Tristan Sherry drops a mark in the middle of the ground where your rebound starts from.
Lloyd for his 10th disposal. Another inside 50. Clearing a Marty. Indeed. Bottom's got that new jumper on. Clear to the blood and set to go.
And McCartan up and about, so it looks like he might be coming back on. It'd be interesting why he started on the bench.
He did roll his ankle late in that quarter too, Gaz, and he did play 100% game time as well.
She's with his 14th disposal. Stands at the back. Now Simpkin takes a bounce. Gets it forward to McKercher. He's got green space ahead of him. McKercher from outside 50. Nails it.
Oh, that's better. The slow method wasn't working at all. So, yes, during the contest, which happened there at half-back, they're able to get the ball to ground, then take off in waves for North Melbourne. We just haven't seen enough of these guys. Obviously, good handballing through the middle of the ground. They used up their numbers. They knew that they couldn't kick it forward because they didn't have a target down there. There's only Sydney defenders. Good work there by Josh Simpkin. Just drew the tackler, put McKercher into the clear, and you've got to finish.
Get the ball in the hands of your best users. Zerha pushing deep. He got outmarked in the last time they went forward, which was really disappointing at the heart of the contest. So if he has to get up the ground, they can have an impact, so be it. That was nice to see him in the back half and started the chain. Simpkin, McKercher, ball users, goal. Shouldn't be a surprise.
He's a gun, McKercher. North won that last game in Hobart in 2023, cost themselves the #1 draft pick in Hartley Reid, but maybe Karma has seen them get a really good one in McKercher. Stevens with the steal. Sherry, dainty little handball to Powell. Daniel, harder down. Got the kick away just in time, but it's too wide. Rampy will be content, maybe. Oh, he got a little nudge to the back, but the umpire says that's okay.
Good news is Tom McCartan's back on the ground, but he's actually lining up now on, where is he?
Jack Darling.
Darling down there at the moment, guys.
Just see the last couple of moments, North Melbourne, they wanted to handball their way through their Sydney zone. Sydney set up really well behind the ball. Saw the McKercher goal, and we just saw that ball movement there. They look good with their quick hands.
John O'Brien, Gary Lyon, Super Saturday Live, Dave Gignac alongside Cameron Mooney. Or do you try to get too much in Dwayne Russell?
Chad Warner, 4 possessions. Isaac Heaney, 6. So the class of the Swans is still upside.
Wicks round the corner. 3 flies from North, Rowbottom. Perfect ball to Marty. Gee, that's a good hit from Campbell. Plays on immediately. Oh, just sacks it. Walks it inside. Nearly worked out to McLean. It was an ugly ball. Hanley by hand. Chance for turnover. No. Warner, touch ball. Hayward, beautiful pickup. Wants to get onto his right. Hayward, that is nearly.
Here's a trap. It was a great trap coming out of the square. Will Hayward, fantastic ball control.
Yeah,
Could have finished.
About 9, I think, in a under-18 grand final in SA, and essentially got himself drafted. Hayward, he can put a big number together if you don't watch him. He's looking the goods again tonight. Daniel, got one of North's good pickups over the summer. Larkey comes up to make a contest. Hamling just knuckled it away at the last second. Tucker, she's a roll it to him. Simpkin, McKercher, Larkey, Tucker, nice movement. Now what to go to? He goes to Rampy. Wrong guy. Front on contact from Zerha. Gee, made him earn it.
That's where you need to keep going. So take the risk of over handballing. Just keep the handball going. Otherwise, if you decide to kick too early, that's what's happening. You're going to go to Sydney defenders that are set up behind the ball.
Turnover. Can they get them back the other way? The fiery Constanti with ball in hand. Goes to Sheasel. 15th disposal.
12 kicks, 21 handballs for the quarter, so Browning's points spot on.
Simpkin just a little chip to
He's got
Stephen.
Sheasel over here. They just want to go to him.
Indeed they do, Moons.
Over the top is Zerha. It was just the kick was just a bit off.
Curtis.
Oh, he just tried to kick it there. A couple of poor entries inside 50 by foot from the Kangaroos. Don't expect it from Sheasel. He's trying to make up for it now. Simpkin, Hayward roaming wide and far. Campbell spiralling close to the line and over.
Crowd finding voice now, though. Logue. Parker's had a fair bit of it in this second term. He's got the short Curtis. Hits in, lays out. Larky went down behind play. And now the Zerha in the pocket.
It's good though, they keep the ball moving, so they don't want to stall too much North Melbourne. The more they stall, the more it allows Sydney to set up behind the ball. Just keep the ball moving, good ball speed there, whether by hand or by foot, find the free target inside.
And if you're all on the same page, Brownie, it all works. There was 18 Swans players in that half of the ground, yet they found 2 uncontested marks because they went quick.
Kicked 4 goals against Melbourne, 1 goal against Adelaide, 1 against the Dogs so far this year. Zerha splits the middle with a beauty there.
Yeah, love that build-up. Fantastic. We're good effort by Tom Powell, who cleared the area for Curtis to go inside. And they were able to hit Zerha on his own, relatively inside with maybe 16 Sydney defenders back there, guys. So you can pick your way through.
Just watch how quickly they go, right? So they don't sit and don't stand still. And Zerha on the move. Like, look at all the red there. There's red everywhere, but the ball moves quickly. And Zerha finds a little pocket. And the difference is this time they're able to hit the target. Now, we've seen a couple of times that they go forward and just hand the footy back. This time they find their target and Zerha good enough to finish.
The key is movement, isn't it, guys? From the midfielders and the forwards, it's not unrewarded running, it's sacrificial running for your teammates. So you run through those areas, drag the Sydney defenders with you and create holes, and that time Zerha opens up, runs into the free space.
2 goals to the Roos, 1 point to the Swans to start the second. Now jumps on the top.
So it's at about 6-1, North Melbourne. Clearances are in total 17-10 to the Kangaroos.
It's a good battle between the 2 ruckmen. Grundy wins it this time. Hayward's dangerous. McDonald clean. Laddam's pushed off it by the aforementioned McDonald. He gets another possession. Whitlock done. Trouble.
Well done. Let's just give the payoff to Joel Marty for having the heads up first of all. Forward sometimes can be accused of not working that hard defensively, but he was absolutely switched on there. And he's unlucky, the young fella, as he did the right thing by getting his hands above his head and free to be able to get the handball off, and then just lost control of the footy. So he'll learn from that, the young man on debut.
It's 25 out of Marty. Kicks his second.
Good little steady up. They go back to the first 2 goals in the quarter. You don't want to be giving up any more than the back-to-back goals, and they got it through hard work. And they got it through Brody Grundy, just saying enough of this centre clearance dominance. 6-1 all the way of the Kangaroos. So there's a young man who just lost control of the pill, and Joel Amati laid the tackle. But the Grundy clearance meant that they got some field position, and then they turned it over. So nice settler for the Swans. It's been a little bit one way for the Kangaroos in this second quarter.
Good confidence building too for Marty, guys. As I said, he's got 5 goals this season coming in. 2 goals on the board early.
They want Sherry back in. It's 7-1 clearances when Sherry's in the ruck.
2 rucks side by side again here. Not touching yet. Now they do. Umpire's bounce wasn't kind to them. Sherry just kicks it away. Right, question back.
On the goal square, guys. On the goal square.
Toss it in the air this time.
Thank you.
We're going to reset the 6-6-6, which includes a pair in the goal square. So
Clarkie's been eager. Yeah.
They do the dance again, the 2 rucks. Simpkin couldn't get away from that Rowbottom tackle. Number 1 tackler in the AFL last year, James Rowbottom, 9th in the AFL for clearances. He's become a star, as has this guy. She's on that. Look, throw from here. There's a throw from there too. And Grundy Sherry again.
bit extra there for the big fella.
And dangerous tackle on Wicks as well earlier.
Wicks goes back.
So he by Wicks on Sheasel there. Almost lucky the umpire didn't overturn that.
Blakey. Bomber might get there in time. Sherry almost marked that. Well, he had 3 bites of the Sherry. Off to Laddams. Wide to Lloyd. Gets under that a bit. Common gets up. And Marty nearly outmarked 3 of them. Parker shoots it back. Daniel thumps it away. And now Sheasel's got 2 to beat. Tough ball. He beat them all. But she's welcome to Harry's world. He's good, this kid.
17th possession, Bono, beautifully called. He had to find a bit of footy. The Davies Uniacke-Jordan matchup's been fascinating to watch as well. Davies Uniacke, he's had 10, really been able to cut loose.
But that replay shows there was a second Swan there, so if it went to ground, it was a shot on goal, but Sheezy was up to the task. The Cartons look so comfortable down back. Daniel gets the arms up. Florence just arrives and says, I'll have that footy. Nice sweeping hand pass. The Swans send it forward. That's a nice set off a Whitlock. What did you say, Dwayne? He's another who played Sandford. He's on a plane, is he?
Yeah, Jack's on his way. Might be here at half-time. Played in the Sandford for Port Adelaide's Sandford team. The two twins drafted in the same draft. McKercher. And it was nice to see 7 or 8 North players get to Whitlock when he made that mistake about 4 minutes ago. Patted him on the head and said, it's okay, we've got you covered.
I hope his brother's not relying on a smooth-flowing Melbourne traffic situation, Dwayne, mate.
You sound like you're talking from experience, Howie. McKercher's got it, and you can take it too.
So in his defensive 50, McKercher, he kicked a beautiful goal.
Just probing here, just trying to find a way through. Swans are set up behind the ball.
Audio just having a rest on the bench.
A bit of work on his left hip at the moment, actually, Howie. He came off limping, so he's a little bit sore.
Does he look okay, mate?
No, he's sore at the moment. He's really sore, left hip.
Larky hasn't been a factor so far. As he will be at some stage. Bice through his hands. Here's McKercher. He's already kicked one. Sends it deep. Blake will be under pressure. Robbie Hanson Jr. nearly affected it. But Blakey was calm. Had to be. Sends it out into the legs of the ruckman. This is trouble. Roberts should get them out of it. Nervous moments. Sydney repelled.
Did a great job, Blakey. He had the advantage height-wise, of course, but he had to get back really hard and
Very relaxed kick. That
Didn't pay the lizard. The umpire didn't pay
didn't,
the mark.
no, it was play on.
Colby McKercher would love that kick again, though. That wasn't to the advantage of either of his forwards that he had ahead of him.
He just banged one from 55 minutes ago. He goes, just go for the goal.
Should have belted it.
Weiss. Coleman stalks it. Drops it. Trouble. Handling gave it off. Haywood. Advantage paid. He's a gun. He's got 3.
He's an outstanding player. Many strings to his bow. He played in Sicily the first game or the opening round and actually slowed him down in the second half. But great finish there. He's kicked 3. Charlie Coleman again. Spilled mark. Got to take those intercept marks. You've got the outnumber and they could have gone back quickly. So good contest there by Grundy. Make the most of the opportunities. That's what Will Hayward did.
Took 8 a couple of weeks ago, Charlie Comben. He's only had the 1 intercept marks. So that would...
It hurts.
It does hurt.
He had 3 or 4 numbers around him too, guys. They could have handballed their way through.
Great finish, Will Hayward. Great finish.
21 at quarter time. Angus kicked the first 2, but then Marty with his second, Hayward with his third takes it back out to a 22-point margin.
LDU back on there, boys, but very, very proppy at the moment. Looks very sore.
Keep an eye on him. Right contest again. Sherry and Grundy, they're almost butting heads before the ball's bounced.
They're getting this done, the Swans, without Chad Warner's influence. He's flashed in once or twice, but hasn't had any impact.
Look at these two blokes, guys. They're into each other.
Put him in a phone box, I think.
That's exactly right. There's going to be another infringement. This time it's the way of
Yes.
Kangaroos. Sherry gets the free kick.
Personal between the two big boys. Grundy's now worked down the forward line, back line.
Sherry doesn't really time the kick forward. Curtis arrives. Lloyd, clean, hand passes a touch errant. Lloyd goes to fix up his own work. He's caught in a good tackle, Lloyd.
And his 2 ex-teammates got him. Stevens and Parker dragged him down. Tossed in the air. Sherry will knock down Lloyd again. Taken to the deck.
So every time the margin's got out to about 20, 22 points, this sort of thing's been happening. The Kangaroos identify that they're under a bit of pressure. They've ramped it up just fractionally again.
Long to Lloyd, to Whitlock. Not quite. Nice. Hanley. Out of trouble. No, they're not. Cause about to swallow this Send it back to the Roos.
Immediately spreads it to McDonald. He's got the runners wide. Robert Hanson Jr.
They've done a good job, Sydney, of just covering the switch, certainly slowing down North Melbourne. They've had to switch, they've had to go wide.
Really to go to, so he drops it in. Copying a big knock is Constanti down there. He's provided a bit of physical presence. He'll sit on the top of Wicks, I think it is, under the pack and get the free kick.
So again, another big tackle. Constanti had to come back with the fly to the footy and took his turn. So they have just identified to the margin. Now it's in a dangerous spot and they've lifted a bit here, the Roos.
19th disposal for Sheasel. Darling flies. Vice, good. Puts Roberts under a bit of pressure. But they hold it up.
That was one of those wing tackles where Roberts had the ball in his hand and it was a free hand, but the umpire says, no, you don't have to make it a 10. Depends on which umpire at which time. McKercher, that looked high from here, maybe. Did he duck into it?
It's well done by Ray Bottom. As soon as he felt the high contact, he quickly put his arms out.
Or was the number one tackler in the game. Grundy rips out of the air, kicked it into McKercher, almost into his face. LDU going too fast for his own legs. Amadi, Grundy, two big men, tried to wax. Amadi, he might be gone.
That's some heavy tackles.
In the first instance, he didn't kick it because the outnumber was down the line, which was fantastic. And he was aware that if he did go down, he'd turn the footy over. He was looking for a hold-up clearance, but the Kangaroos were too good in their tackling.
Stanty really brings some physical presence to his game, and it works out. There's a push.
Jeff Darling, yes. It was pretty obvious there. He went early.
Hamlin. Roberts. Wicks. Casual bounce. And a second. Now a third. Sends it down to the man who's kicked free, Hayward.
This is a win. Bloke's been the spare there for a while. So they've been a bit outnumbered, couldn't really go long. They changed direction, tried to work it up, but a stoppage now gives them a chance to even up ahead of the footy.
Second game of the year for Griffin Lowe. It's against Adelaide and Melbourne. Good to have him back. They'll get Jackson Archer and George Wardlaw back in the next couple of weeks. All down towards Heaney, who couldn't quite keep it alive, or he did. Fooled everyone. Sent it to McLean, Lowe, middle of it. Huge crumb to win. She's on hands and knees. Funneled it out. Parker made it tough for Daniel, made it look easy. Larky, little hesitation step was nice. Tucker, Howell, McDonald, Hanson Jr.
Looks inboard. It's aggressive. It's good from Hanson Jr. Stevens, now they've got the runner. McKercher just chips and goes to Constanti. Rampier needs to be careful on the mark.
You just got to give that to McKercher. Just keep it flowing.
Trying to again through Caleb Daniel. You wanted the movement to continue, Brownie?
Yeah, it had to keep going. McKercher was free.
Curtis, a spectacular one, brings it to ground. Here's an opportunity. Constanti, he makes a mess of it.
He took it all back if he had to kick that, Gas.
He might have gone nuts if he kicked that.
Yes.
He might have got every single Swans player out on the ground there. Just an opportunity to close that gap again. They've had a good 5 minutes. The Kangas, it's just a little bit of polish at the minute. 6-5, just over 5 minutes on the clock.
Kicked 2 goals last week, Constanti, from just 3 kicks against Adelaide. Normally better at goal than that.
So just composure now from the Swans as they go forward. They've been so good not blasting away when their numbers are, when their outnumber is down the line. So he's looking down the line here now. Grundy comes across and evens up, so he can go long.
Handling. McLean's his target. Coleman's there. McLean got a touch on it. Coleman's second effort was superb. To Tucker, LDU, McDonald. Thought about Zerha. Gave to Parker, who thinks about Zerha, and hit him. Beautiful pass. And North moving the ball fairly well. Yeah. He's got a half of the second term.
They've gone nearly kicked to it. 1-to-1 kick to handball ratio in this second quarter. Dwayne got a bit more run in the game.
Good when they've handballed North. It's tight on the line.
When Sheasley and McKercher get their hands on the ball, they've looked dangerous, especially when they can fly the ball through the middle of the ground. So that man, Nick Blakey, He's the most dangerous mover for the Swans. He's had 9 disposals.
She's with 20, 10 and 10, kicking at 90% efficiency. Grundy, Parker, inside 50 for the Roos. Curtis, he can do the unusual, this man.
That's the X factor that you talked about. And isolating him one out with Joel Hamling is not the worst thing in the world to do. Nick Larkey, we saw him get a possession up at half-back only a couple of minutes ago, so he's prepared to vacate the area. He's got his hands full with Tom McCartan at the moment, struggling to get involved. Just 3 possessions, so clear out. Give this man a look at it one-on-one.
Already 9 goals this season for the number 25. Make it 10. Much needed for the Kangaroos.
So this is really interesting. Nick Larkey's been, the Coleman medalist, leading goal kicker, been a dominant key forward. So Tom McCartan's had his number, Brownie, and this is a sign of the maturity and the sign of the selflessness and what good teams are all about. He goes, no, I don't need to be the primary target inside forward 50. Let's let this bloke go one-on-one. Larkey now working up and around the ground. I reckon it's a sign of maturity for this
It's good, It's just taking yourself out of the firing line. So take yourself out of the way, bring yourself inboard, as you can see there. So the first kick out in direct straight line, that was to Curtis. Larkey wasn't there, but that's unselfish. Just work your way back in the game. Charlie coming off the phone to Clark. He's had a challenging day. He's been able to take the intercept marks he would have liked at this stage of the game.
Restart, right bottom. Another clearance. The All-A lifted above. The head of Sheasel sends it to McLean. Drops it and then was dropped. Almost had a knee dropped into him by Logue. Umpire said, play on, boys. And here, the ball's followed Sheasel everywhere he's gone. He's having one of those nights.
It's time for row bottom, you think, Brownie? Have a look at it at half-time.
I think so.
Bumps it along. Darling caught behind. Hamling Hill didn't really have it.
They won't want to break the LDU matchup with James Jordan, so they'll stick to that.
You don't want Griffin Lowe landing on him. We saw him pre-game in the rooms with his jumper off, Dwayne. He had pics like dinner plates, didn't he? He hadn't shaved down, though, to be fair to say.
I didn't notice that. How are you?
I think you pointed it out to me. Back to Grundy. Heaney. Has him more to touch. There is Griffin Logue. Important ball from McDonald. Gets his hands above the Warner tackle. Measured pass forward. Simpkin important. Gets through the tackle of Rampy. Simpkin sends it forward, but Blakey's there. You can't beat the Lizard.
It wasn't like his fault, though. It wasn't a great kick, though. It was good effort by Simpkin to get through with the spin.
Have slowed Blakey's run at least, making him get it at full back and hold it and kick it wide to the pocket. Lower. Now they want to go to Blakey so he can run, but he's hemmed in. Back to fly. Possession footy. Again back. Well, the Rampy's jumping in. They still want to switch it if they can to Blakey, but he's being manned up by Larkey, so they're stopping that opportunity. Heaney can go now. Not 15. Didn't hear the call. Goes now. Campbell. Roberts picking their way through them. Jordan gets it middle of the ground. He's got Bice out wide. Little slip, but he gets it now. Leeds come. A bullet out in front of Haywood. Hits the deck. Well played, Tucker. It wasn't. It was well played until it wasn't.
Fantastic build up there by Sydney. Make North Melbourne chase. So late in the half, players are starting to tire. Ask the North Melbourne defenders, or players all over the field, to cut down those uncontested marks. There's about 10 marks there, Gaz. There's nothing worse than when teams start chipping around. You're forced to chase, forced to man up.
Caden Cleary back into the lineup. 5 games in his debut season last year. He blows his line there. But now the goal late in this half.
One of the things I would be happy with North is 10 times they've left their D50 Sydney this quarter and only gone inside 50 twice. So
He turned it over, didn't look confident in the kicking, Caleb Daniel, and then just got whack straight in his face. You can't give the Chad a chance, because that's what he'll do.
Caleb Daniel, one of your better kickers, he's brought into the club across from Western Bulldogs to be able to hit targets, help bring the ball out from the back half. Had a bad turnover there last week in a similar situation as well. That's so deflating going into half time.
But he was undecided, Brownie, because I reckon he was thinking of those blokes 15 away or not. They've been calling it all night. He was forced to kick to something he didn't want to.
Pretty sure I know what Clarko will be saying. When the clock comes up and we see that there's a minute or so, if you're undecided, you don't go there. And that's just Chad Warner has been quiet in the half. And this has been the story of the game. It gets back out to this 20-point margin. They haven't been able to get it inside 10. The Kangaroos, they keep having a crack. But this is where Warner does his best work here. The club score involvements, his impact is greater than Green, Petrarca and Sam Darcy. So he started at half forward, didn't start in the centre square, and that's probably why. And I'd like that matchup against Caleb Daniel too.
26 possessions last week. Their leading possession getter as well. Heaney hits long. The lead's Carmen Laddams out of nowhere.
Centre bounce here late in the game. Inside the last minute, if they give up 2 goals, then it absolutely kill North. So Isaac Heaney and Chad Warner, the 2 glamour boys in this football club. Chad kicks one, Isaac Heaney slots one down the throat. And Peter Adams had no choice but to mark that. That's how good the kick was.
And he is a survival story, if you've ever heard one. Peter Adams only one AFL game last season, and that was the 112-point loss to Port in round 21. But here he is flying with the number 1 lock spot for the Swans the way he's playing. Huge moment to end the half. Oh my goodness. Wow. He nearly missed it completely.
He's good season, hasn't he?
It's almost in the car park. Half time.
The Swans lead by
Watch your shove again here.
there's a bit of feeling between the two teams, mainly the 2 ruckmen. 21 points at quarter time, 22 at half time. Boys look happy to separate now. So the Swans lead at 8-5-53 to North, 5-1-31 by 22 points. Gather round comes next week. That man, Isaac Heaney, he's already been for a visit.
I'm Isaac Heaney. My time in South Australia was spent exploring the amazing Eyre Peninsula. I spend a lot of my time off the field in the ocean, fishing, surfing and exploring. I'm taking every chance I get to be in or on the water. Beach fishing for salmon and fresh cook-ups on the beach was an incredible experience. You can see why Port Lincoln is the seafood capital of Australia. Four-wheel driving, beach fishing for salmon and swimming with sea lions are some of the incredible experiences you can do when planning a trip to South Australia. I love getting to know the locals and was welcomed with amazing hospitality everywhere I went. The Eyre Peninsula is less than an hour flight from Adelaide and is home to amazing native wildlife, rugged coastline and incredible seafood. I can't wait to come back to South Australia to explore more.
All right, half time, folks. And our Sydney Swans 8-5-53 leading North Melbourne 5-1-31. Continuing on their merry way, the Sydney Swans, although only winning that quarter by 2 points. Swans putting on 3 goals, 2 in that second quarter. North Melbourne 3 goals, 1. There we go, a solitary behind, I should say. They won that second quarter by April City. Shouty, welcome in. Of course, Ryan. That's right. Thanks, Ryan. I forgot daylight savings ends tonight. 1 more extra hour's sleep. Gotta like that. All right, let's quickly duck over and we'll have a look at the stats before we get back to the commentators. We'll see how far we get anyway. All right, let's have a look at the AFL fantasy points for that game. Harry Schneisel, 80 points up until half time. There we go. He's scoring quite well. Paul Curtis, 73. The rest under. The goal scorers so far in the match, Will Hayward still tops the table for the Swans, 3 goals. Joel Armity on 2. That's the only 2 multiple goal scorers there for the Sydney Swans. Chad Warner, Hayden McLean, Oliver Florent, other single goal scorers there for the Swannies. And of course, for the Kangaroos, Paul Curtis, the only multiple goal scorer for the Kangaroos. Of course, Cameron Zerha, Luke Parker, Colby McKercher, the single goal scorers there for the Kangaroos up until half time. Let's duck over, have a look at the disposal count. Of course, Harry Sneasel, he's going to lead the way. He's a star for the North Melbourne Football Club. 21, he's only one in the 20s. 21 is Harry Sneasel. 11 kicks, 10 handballs, 7 marks, 2 tackles, 3 clearances. He's having a ring-a-ding-ding game. One of the pickups of the season last year was Caleb Daniel getting across to North Melbourne. They certainly knew what they were doing when they were picking the little pocket rocket up there for North Melbourne. All right, Luke, Jake Lloyd, best for the Swannies on 14 touches. Isaac Keaney, one of the stars for the Swans. He's only had 11, a little bit of a quiet game. Sure he'll get into it a little bit more as it goes along. 8 kicks, 3 handballs. He's had a couple of marks, 3 tackles, 3 clearances. On his standards, maybe a little bit quiet, but still doing enough around the ground. Brody Gundy up to 10, 11 hit outs. He's going okay. Luke McDonald there on 10 also for the Kangaroos. We head on down a little bit more. Who else have we got there? Sam Wicks on 7 for the Swannies. Chad Warner, we'll talk about a quiet game. He'll probably come into his own in maybe the third or fourth term. He usually sparks up somewhere around there. All right, have a look down here. Rampy just with a 6. Few possessions down there for the Swans. And of course, Nick Clarkey there for North Melbourne down there on 3. They are your players' stats, folks. We will have a look at the team stats in a moment because I think the commentators will come on. April City, have a great weekend to all. Bye-bye. I'm going out. It's sunny today. Time to be a real grasshopper today. Sounds like fun, April. I tell you what, one of the greatest singers you will hear on YouTube, folks, April City. Make sure you get over and listen to her. She's fantastic. Thanks for dropping in. We appreciate that. Appreciate you dropping in and giving the live a big thumbs up, a big like. Don't forget, folks, give it a like if you like the footy. Don't forget to vote who you think's going to win. So far, we've got 80% saying the Sydney Swans are going to win. All right, let's get back to the commentators and we'll have a look at the team stats on the next break from the commentators.
Supporters are probably sitting back in their chairs saying we won't begrudge you one there. You gave us 290 on great games of footy and he lit the fuse there. It's a good game of footy, 22 points of margin, 2 distinctive styles of games on display. Which one prevails? Well, the score from turnover game is a bit more reliable, but let's get into it in a moment. The Macca's halftime highlights brought to you by Macca's. I'm loving it. And I tell you what, it's the Sydney forward half turnover game was just superb early in this piece.
Yeah, it was. They were set up really well behind the ball, guys. So through the middle of the ground, they limited North Melbourne's effectiveness to be able to take it through the corridor quickly, and their defenders were set up as well. So really good job. Look at that. So good pressure at the source, guys, and then obviously a great wall behind. They were able to go back 4 goals, 2 from turnover in that first quarter. They've been down on that this year, guys, after being number 1 in the competition last year. Certainly got it back rolling today.
When you kick the footy like this, you're going to make opposition clubs play, and this is the key to it. They're up around 70, I think we said 77, 78% kicking efficiency in their front half. So it's one thing turning the ball over. This was just a great heads-up play here.
This hurts late, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, Alistair Clarkson will be sitting in the box and he'll be belting him. And Chad Warner has a moment, and Isaac Keaney goes back to centre square and he has a moment as well. So 5 goals, 2 in total from turnover was outstanding, and they'll take that all day long. North Melbourne just not quite able to get that ball movement. There were some signs, Brownie. There was a little bit of a sign, but North Melbourne have relied on clearance for much of the year. They've been a dominant clearance team. I don't know whether it's going to get you across the line, though.
No, that's right. They've been able to dominate centre clearance numbers, guys, but not necessarily score from there. And they've been very dominant. 7 goals against Melbourne 2 weeks ago from centre bounce. Huge number. 4 goals last week against the Crows. So Sheasel had a slow start to the season by his high standards early in his career, guys. He's been outstanding tonight, though. He's had a huge start to the game. Started at half back, but has played a lot through the middle of the ground, hasn't he? And he's been their best player today.
He has. He's been superb. I wonder whether they'll start to think about him. The Davies-Uniacke matchup's going okay. James Jordan's doing a really good job, but Harry Sheasel's been really important. He's part of, when it looks good, it's forward handball, it's moving the ball. It gets it. Once you handball once, then everyone starts to run.
Yeah, I feel as if that wall was just so set up well. set up really well by Sydney. When they start to handball in this second quarter, guys, 56 kicks, but 46 handballs. When they handball their way through that Sydney zone, I thought that looked a hell of a lot better, and that's their best opportunity to go forward and score.
Game on here, Marvel Stadium, 22 points the margin. The Kangaroos not out of it. Stay with us. Big second half still to come.
All right, there we go. There's a little bit of a wrap up from the commentators. Let's have a quick look at the team stats. Let's have a quick look at the team stats. We're only 11 minutes out from the bounce of the ball for the second half. As you can see, well, 22 points up the Sydney Swans. But look at the disposal count. 44 up North Melbourne. What's going on, you're saying? Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Just maybe a little bit of overuse of the handball. We'll get down to those stats. Only 3 kicks the difference, though. Yeah, 41 more handballs. Maybe they need to just kick the ball. Present up their targets a little bit more. Sometimes you can overuse the handball, get yourself into trouble. I think that's what North Melbourne are doing a little bit. Inside 50s, though. Look at that. 21 to North Melbourne. 6 scoring shots. 23 to the Swans for 13 scoring shots. That is fantastic. I haven't seen efficiency inside 50 that high in a while from any team. 65 is really high. 33 from North Melbourne. Well, a little bit low. They need to lift that up. They need to score a little bit more going inside 50. Although the disposal efficiency around the ground, folks, 79.2. Don't get much higher than that, especially up until half time in a match. As you see, their season average, they are pretty good ball users there. Just the same thing, 76.8 is their season average. Free kicks, well, the Swannies, there we go, 17 to 9, 8 free kicks, nearly double the free kicks of North Melbourne. I'm sure the umpires will square the ledger a little bit more going into the second half. They usually do. Hit outs. Looks like Grundy's leading the way there. 16 to 3, plus 3 to the Swannies. Clearances, well, all pretty well square there, isn't it? 19 to 17. Centre clearances, though, North Melbourne dominating there. 7 to 3. They're just not capitalising on that when they get it out of the centre. Stoppage clearances, reasonably tight there. 12 to 4. Contested possessions, there we go. All quite level. Uncontested. Well, you'd think North Melbourne's controlling this game. I'll tell you what. It doesn't really tell the story, does it? What's that? Nearly 50, 48 more uncontested possessions. Big number there for the Roos, since their average is only 240, well above that. The Swans on season average. Both teams turning it over. Not too bad. Swans not turning over as much as normal, which is a good sign for the Swannies. So they're a little bit more cleaner. Going forward. There we go. Marks, only 11 the difference. Marks inside 50. And the Swans, they're just finding their targets. They're creating a little bit more space going forward. That's what you got to do. As I said, the wiser heads delivering the ball. 7 to 3 marks inside 50. All right, let's get back to the main scoreboard there. We'll just have a look at the Worm as they start off. As we said, the Sydney Swans started this game really well. Will Hayward was the opening goal scorer of the game for the Sydney Swans. The Swans quickly put on 3 goals, and of course North Melbourne fired back with the next 2. And then, of course, the Swans getting too late in that opening quarter stretched the margin back out again. North Melbourne came out reasonably well in that second term, though, getting the first 2 goals. But again, Sydney, as they do, they peg them back with the next 2. North Melbourne the next, and then Sydney the next. Just a real professional workmanlike performance here by the Sydney Swans. So they'll be very happy where they stand, not trailing, not really getting off to their slow start. They actually got off to a reasonably good start. So that's a good sign for Sydney early on in the season. North Melbourne, look, they're doing fantastic. They're trying, they're working hard from what I can see anyway. We'll see what the commentators have to say in a moment when they get back for a little bit of a wrap-up of the first half before we get into the bounce of the ball for the second half. But I think we're in for a good game. I think North Melbourne just needs a little bit more luck in and a bit cleaner, cleaner disposal, getting into their forward 50 instead of turning the ball over. And it could open the door up a little bit for North Melbourne. we'll see certainly what happens in the start of this third term and progressing. Can North Melbourne, well, can they put a couple of goals on and hold Sydney to prevent them from rebounding? Anyway, let's get back to the commentators.
So there's no love lost between these two football clubs. Damien Harbour is exactly right. It is a big boy game for them. They are growing up the Gold Coast Suns right in front of our eyes. It's a game they would have lost last year and the years prior to that, but they won it and they won it close, and I'm pretty sure they're happy with the 4 points.
And they're proving that try beat us at People First Stadium on the Gold Coast is going to be a tough task this year.
Yeah, it is 2 away from home to start the season, but we know that they're very good at home and clearly getting off to a good start at People First this year.
Bit of controversy in the final minute or so, which we will dissect in our Saturday night debrief following the Kangas Swans game at Marvel Stadium. But just like Gold Coast, their Queensland rivals, the Brisbane Lions, are also undefeated. They now 4-0 after taking care of Richmond at the MCG. And this goal from Will Ashcroft from the boundary was the highlight of the day.
Yeah, this is a contender for goal of the year. There's been a lot of goals, good goals kicked from this pocket here at the MCG. This one here nicely slid in there by the Norm Smith medalist. But I think coming out of this game, I'm unsure about where I sit with the Brisbane Lions because they're winning and they're winning off belief. But today, and Chris Fagan spoke about it, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in the post-match. I don't think he's too happy with the way they're going. But the positive for them, the first time they've won since 2009 against Richmond at the MCG.
Yeah, so they can tick that one off too. But yes, allowing the Tigers to score 90 points is probably a concern. Back to Marvel Stadium next. It is the Sydney Swans leading the Kangaroos.
Marco, thanks for your time. Thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, well, they just owned the corridor a bit more than what we have, and they've forced us wide, so that's a credit to the way that they've defended us, and we've had more of the ball, but just can't get into the spots on the ground where we'd like, and that means we put the ball back into their hands, and then they've taken the corridor.
You said you had more of the ball, which you have. Does it now just mean, boys, let's just go? We've got to go?
Well, a little bit, but you know, we just need to be composed with the footy. Some of the times that we tried to go too quick in the first, especially in the first quarter, and we just gave the ball back to the Swans. So some of it is just you know, be real strong in the contest, get the ball out to our guys, and then when we do get the footy, just use it wisely and try to take some ground, and particularly if we can get into the corridor.
All right, Paco, thanks for your time, mate. Good luck.
So a bit of polish needed from the Kangaroos at the moment. And this is the difference between the two. One played in the grand final, one's down the bottom. This bloke's got a lift, Brownie, Nick Larkey. So he hasn't hit the scoreboard at all. He's just had the 3 possessions. So Tom McCartan's done a great job, but now you're never done for a whole game. You can still impact.
It's a great thing about being a forward, guys. You can turn a game in a short space of time. Easy on a quality defender, Tom McCartan. And the supply hasn't been great, even though they've won clearance.
Third quarter all set. Swans by 21 at quarter time, 22 at the half. Warner with a late goal to keep that margin at a comfortable level for the Swans. Cherry and Grundy have been at it all night. Not the required distance. Parker, who kicked a goal against his old club in the first quarter. Roberts has got nowhere to go.
Hey, thank you. Tristan, Brody.
Tristan and Brody.
A great battle.
Sound like a couple of naughty schoolboys from the up.
In the cage together.
Yeah.
Cherry v Grundy in the ruck. Swans 12-7 in clearances. Cherry v Laddams in the ruck. The Roos 7-1 in clearances.
Grundy, Hayward, kick 3. Campbell bursts clear, takes a bounce. Campbell from long range, sends it deep, sends it accurately. Perfect start for the red and the white.
Yeah, I love this kid's addition to, well, maybe he's not a kid now, he's been in the system now 4 or 5 years, but I love his addition to the midfield. They're all good and they've lost some class obviously early in the season with that ankle leg injury. But just putting Campbell in here, we know he's lethal with that left foot of his. Just see him inside the stoppage, then charges forward, gets behind Caleb Daniel, great finish.
But he was starting sub 6 times last year, Braden Campbell. He was on the edge of selection a few times, but he's really established himself now. Alistair Clarkson, 3rd season as coach of North, 17 seasons as Hawthorn coach, 4 premierships. Going to have to reach into his bag of tricks pretty quickly here. This is the biggest margin of the game to either team.
Yeah, it's an important part of their game, Sydney. They need to certainly improve. That man's going to help it.
Cherry, Grundy, Heaney on the move. Hits it hard, gets away, hands it up, Rowbottom. Little nudge from the LDU, brilliant. Handball not so good. Had to go and try and mob up that mess. Corey Warner caught on the ball. Free kick, Stevens. He backpedals. Ex-Swan, they picked 5 in 2019. They took him.
Outside 5.
Dylan Stevens, just the 43 games for the Swans. Wide towards Zerha. Got it.
It's been so good in this situation, Sydney, just forcing North Melbourne to kick it along. They can't find the uncontested mark at all. They have to kick long down the line again.
Zerha, Cherry, Grundy, fine contest. Parker delays the hand pass. Now North move it down a half forward. Fish comes from behind. Sheasel, dominant possession winner in the first half, does really well to McKercher. The young guns, now Stevens drops it into the pocket. Zerha! He knew the heat was coming. He stood up like he's had a quiet evening, gets his hands up above. Simpkin had nowhere to operate. Even they can hear the roost. Sheasel again steps, gets himself in a bit of trouble, gets the kick away. Larky gets front position, scored by Heaney. Roberts, Wicks.
Danced around a couple, tried to spear past the McLean. It did well, he knocked that out. He knew a ball in was exactly what the Swans wanted to do for a reset.
So Larky and Zerha there too. Just got to keep competing, got to keep presenting, find some way to impact this contest. It's a challenge for this man. He's been in ripping form, but
First of all, he needs to get in the way of Tom McCartan so he doesn't spoil Cam Zerha. Just need to have that awareness.
Sherry works his way to the front. Heaney, right spot, right time again with a bullet to McLean. He's got a Marty running for him in a one-on-one with Lowe. Takes some time to consider what's the best option. He sits it up in hope. Hayward got there way late and nearly marked it. Hit the deck, Heaney. Touched as you heard, even if it rolls through. Core stops it from rolling through. Rowbottom hunts it, Tucker hunts it. Warner, look out. Coleman feeds it back to where he had the numbers. Tucker. Switch wasn't really on, but he goes for it. And he gets it to LDU. Fortune favoured the Braves there.
Grounds from you and the North fans, Brownie. That looked risky. Gets away with it though. Now McKercher. Going to switch it to Tucker. Now they've got some opportunity to run. Low. Still got the overlap. Parker's going inside 50. They send to Larkey. He's got to beat 2. Did all the hard work, Larkey, by hand. Darling, Sheasel, have the shot, Harry. Oh, inside the post.
Nick Larkey cannot buy one today. He just cannot. He did all the work.
Body work, wasn't it?
Yeah, got him out, and it dropped through his hand from a chest mark point of view. So they went the whole length of the ground then. They were patient in the build-up.
Lloyd to McCartan. One of Roberts down the spine. Hayward got it.
He's played well. Will Hayward has been fantastic. Playing on Charlie Coleman there. He's not only a huge amount in the first half, but he's certainly capable of playing on the taller defenders. Did a good job on James Sisson in the second half of the opening round.
Marty in a one-on-one goal square. He's got it. Too strong.
2 contested marks in a row.
Well, I'd like to look at the first one again, because Charlie Comben's got, from where I'm looking, he had front position on Will Hayward, and Will Hayward's marked over the top of him. That's just not acceptable. Jill Goodwell taking intercept marks on your own.
Marty gets his third, and this is the biggest margin of the game for either team.
8-3 now, marks inside 50 goes Sydney's favour. They average 8 for the season.
Yeah.
And we just said at half time, didn't we? There's a low contested mark situation, or low contested mark game. Sydney go bang bang.
Great mark from Amati. He did it to win the game against Fremantle, so it's a bit of this down one-on-one. So he's with Luke McDonald. You'd say there's an advantage there. But that first mark there from Comben, he would be disappointed with that. So it's a good matchup for the Swans, obviously. So got the height advantage. He's got some confidence up. He's able to move Brennan Cox under the footy to win the match for the Swans, and now he just too strong in the end for Luke McDonald. A great finish. Just opened up here, 33 points. Challenge right at the feet of the Kangaroos. Swans are just humming a bit.
And they do a job on Will Hayward. He's been the best player on the ground. He's been able to kick through himself, set up that goal himself. He's been fantastic.
Game high, 33-point margin. The Swans will get another clearance. Grundy spins and turns. Jordan just whacks it forward. Why wouldn't he? Marty's there. Laddams. Whitlock overruns it. We gave a shove. Needs to be careful. Rowbottom. He's got Laddams. Now we saw him have a shot. He's looking for 50. Oh, umpire is discussing it.
He's got it. He's got 50. Charlie has had a great minute.
Well, I'm going to put it in the book, but I did see his shot just on half time. So let's just hold on for a moment. Plays on. 3 in a row. Bang, bang, bang to start the third term, the Swans.
Worst possible scenario, but best possible result for the Sydney Swans. So he's taken the mark.
Wasn't a lot in it.
Lot in it. He's got to. At that stage, you've given up the mark, I suppose, Brownlee. The only thing that could be worse is if you've given up by an excuse to give a 50. So I think he might be a bit stiff there, to be perfectly honest. But this third quarter, they've had 21 possessions and kicked 3 goals. So it's a clearance game that swung on its head here. 4 zip from clearance, 2 zip from centre bout. So the strength that was keeping the Kangaroos in it in the first half is now all gone the Sydney Swans' way.
Pete Laddams full forward at the moment with the Marty. Things started to go per plan for the Swans from the ball up and the knockdown. Jordan's doing the job on Sheasel now and gets a hack kick out of the middle. A roller past to Marty. McDonald gets there. Core hemmed in. Not a lot to choose from. The kick options. Sherry goes up. Can't mark it, got a tunnel in free.
They're kicking goals that quickly, we didn't even see that, Drano, so you're dead right. So they've flipped over James Jordan under Harry Sheasel. Sheasel had a fantastic first half. We talked about half-time, 21 possessions. He got 4 quick ones here for James Jordan, so a different challenge.
Well, hanging up for a long time, McDonald. He'll get the free. Advantage taken by Sheasel. He's got Constanti out wide. Lloyd stands the mark. 30-metre ball. Zerha doesn't let him down. Chip inside. Curtis. Anyone can kick it from here. It's Paul Curtis.
He's got the left foot in. Just going to ease himself around. I'm not sure he needs to snap it here. And kick the drop punt with the angle.
Finalist for the goal of the year back in 2023. Kick 2. Do some special things, Curtis. Right to the teeth for goal. Sherry. Markey. Making it through for a point. We'll have a listen.
Get the ball. Yeah, okay. Ball back to him, please. Thank you. One time. Yep. Score review. Umpire score is one behind. Please confirm that the ball hit the post.
Review underway.
I reckon you got it.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball makes contact with the post. Decision on the scoreboard.
Good call from the goal umpire. Double check. Proves she's correct. 38 points the margin right now.
Going to be interesting to see Luke Davies-Uniacke now. So it looks like Rowbottom has rolled over to Luke Davies-Uniacke. He's had 16, but no real impact. Like the breakaway, split them open sort of stuff.
3 clearances. It's below his average.
Down the spine to Rowbottom, all the way wide. Carton. Got a few options. Hanley. Back pedals. Game 4. Tom Hanley, their mid-season draft pick, cuts it off. Touch play on Roberts. Made that look beautiful. Bice, likewise, drills it. Laddams. Stevens. Coleman on the back pedal. Gave it up. Whitlock. Did well, the kid.
He's been
No blue game, but he looked good there. Gave it to Scott.
He doesn't look out of place, Dwayno, that's for sure.
Scott ran out of room. Constanti, Grundy. Too much on it for Hayward.
It's just great pressure. I know we don't talk about it, but the lunging spoil means that the ball stays inside forward 50 as the Whitlock family look on. The elder brother, the twin, has made it, we are told, so he's arrived.
Brother Jack.
Thank you, Howard. I was searching for the name.
That's okay. Sherry. Pow. Is that a book or a movie or a play, My Brother Jack? You're our man of culture.
Say again?
My Brother Jack. What about you, Dwayne? Is it a play or a book? Was it?
Not in my repertoire.
Okay.
But
didn't get down to Cardinia Park.
not as widely read as you are.
Might have made a mess of that.
He isn't a Ben Stiller movie.
Tropic Thunder. And
Thank you.
I'll give you the name later.
Yeah.
This is a bit more on our level, to be honest. Tropic Thunder. Scott. Constanti. Howe. Coming back the other way. Weeks, Campbell. They're building here, the Swans. The Roos have got to hang in. Lloyd takes his time back by hand. Roberts goes all the way back to Hamlin.
So the switch is on. Open side. Fly. Inside. Lloyd. Low bottom. Pitching away through.
Yeah, just being able to change angles to one. Just go from one side to the other. Shift it back in. Nice free kick.
Free kick to north, so it'll be where the ball is. Free kick was picked up for a high at full back for north, but the free obviously where the ball is. Whitlock about to be hunted down. The Sheasel likewise loops the handball wide. He missed McDonald. Swans about to pounce. Florent caught. Stevens wrapped him up. The hand slipped high. Stevens pleads his case.
They will stop. They think it's a free kick to Sydney here.
So Laddams goes, play on advantage. Cleary's got an option or two. One of them's Marty. He goes inside to him. Marty's got it. picked their way through them to perfection, the Swans. This is the team, Sydney, that won the minor premiership last season. 17 wins last season, the Swans. North Melbourne 17th last year, 3 wins. Swans with a few out of this game. Tom Papley, Logan McDonald, Callum Mills, Errol Goulden, Lewis Melican. So they've got a few out, but this is a better Sydney than we saw in the first 2 weeks when they were beaten by Hawthorn and Brisbane. Lost their first 2 games under Dean Cox. And Marty shoots that across the face and they dodge a ball there, North.
And in fairness, probably should have beaten Sydney in that second game, wasn't it, Dwayne? So they just went down late in that game. But the difference between the two teams, especially the ball movement, is Sydney been able to pick their way through North Melbourne. North Melbourne just can't do it through the centre of the ground.
To go through the middle here, McKercher, Stevens, now Simpkin. Sends it out in the path of LDU. Does he continue the forward press? Darling wants it deep. Davies Junior send a long ball. He might almost be going for home.
So this is the issue, Brownie, when you're relying on a clearance game. It's hard to score from clearance. You know, most scoring's done from turnover or ball movement.
Danger, but again, fortune favours the brave.
11 of the last 12 clearances now have gone Sydney's way. So they've ramped up that side of the game, taken away the one wood of the Kangaroos.
Jordan. Lloyd. Using the width.
Been told my brother Jack was one of the great reads. Came out in 64, Dwayne. So you would have been, what, 11, year 12?
Yeah, I would have been on the Dr. Seuss repertoire at that stage.
This is what Brownie's talking about. What about that kick?
So Bice, who can hit a target, goes long. Amadi lurking at the back. It fell for him. He couldn't pick it up initially. Now he's cooked. Got a kick away. Scott saves the day. No, he doesn't. And he turns it over.
There's the Kangaroos kick.
That's Bice. And Bice goes to the pocket. He just hits a chest with every kick. Riley Bice.
Dean Cox come into the season speaking about he wants to improve the defence. They're going to change the complexion of it, the whole defensive setup across the ground. So big tick in that regard tonight. And also be better in the contest, which has taken a while this season, guys. But tonight, especially in the last, let's say, 45 minutes of the game, they've been outstanding around the ball.
Third quarter kicking efficiency at 83%, if you don't mind, Brownie, as they look to kick their fourth on the bounce.
And this guy can kick straight. 41-16 last year. 3-1 so far tonight. Make that 4-1.
It's in the votes tonight.
So you want to be kicking it. You want to be coaching a team that can kick the footy. It's becoming more and more evident every game that we go along to look at. So you don't want this. That's what you don't want. Under pressure, handing the footy back. And this bloke Bice can kick the footy. Now he'll have harder kicks to hit than this throughout his career. But the other part of it is Hayward goes back and slots it straight through the middle. So 83%, making you pay when you turn the footy over. And conversely, the Kangaroos, who are still in a development phase, I'm a little disappointed in them tonight, Brownie, to be perfectly honest. I think their skill level, I would thought and hoped that their skill level would be better than what we're seeing at the moment. And maybe that's down to this Sydney Swans team, who have had so many years in being able to defend corridors, shut teams down, hem them into one side of the game and turn the footy over.
Been outstanding. 18-6, 4.5 intercepts in favour of the Swans. That's a huge number. 38-6 points from that source. So very impressive.
Warner to Warner. Game high 45-point margin. And Marty comes again. Low comes back with the flight. Cleary looking to add more damage. Just of the minor variety.
But just the whole team defence. I'm not talking about the defenders. I'm just talking about the whole team. The opposition has the ball in this case today, when North Melbourne has the ball. From this situation, Sydney has put on a clinic. They have been outstanding. They've been so connected with one another. The communication's been outstanding. Pointing, directing. This has been why they've been able to turn the ball over in the front half, and North just can't get any flow in their game.
Behind it was Darling. He hits them out nicely there. Didn't overcommit with the push. Took the mark.
It's been a rarity. Contested marks down the line for North Melbourne.
Got Larky out wide. He pulls the kick shorter. Robert Hanson Jr. Scott, not the required. Hubs wants it. Zerha was half-held. Heaney marks it. Umpire didn't play the free, played the mark to Blakey. It's out wide to McLean. Comes down the lender hand of defence. And they peeled for him, but no need to hurry. Spears it nicely to Corey Warner. He puts it to grass. And enough time to mop up his mess and find the pass target to Florent.
Building again here, the Swans. City side wing. Piercing ball. Marty's got 2 to beat Larky, spending some time in defence. Big tackle by Warner.
Even Hayden McLean's picking them off out of the back half. Just precise kicking through the corridor or the centre part of the ground, and all of a sudden they're deep in attack again.
Larky, we're on the ruck in defence.
And then you look from here, and this ball movement thing, I know it sounds like a broken record, but behind the ball, Nick Blakey's is standing on his own, and he's the only Sydney Swan in his half of the ground right now. So if the Kangaroos win possession, which they do here, they've got to either be precise and quick enough to go around Blakey, or if it's slow, they're going to kick to an outnumber.
Larky, who's letting a hand in the ruck. Whitlock. Chip kick, overcooked it. Row bottom, picks it off to Amani again.
So the Swans are preying on it now, so they're preying on North Melbourne's inability to exit. So it's a bit like a boxer, Brownie. You do all your hard work in the early rounds, and then you cash in. They've done all the hard work. They've softened up North Melbourne. You know, their confidence now starts to suffer. It's 46 points. They go into their shell. That's not a criticism of young Whitlock. That's not what
I like that. I like that analogy. Tim Zoo said he's going to do that tomorrow, guys. He's going to wear him down. You're going to be there in Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Well, that's not quite a knockout blow because there's a ton of time left in this, but Joel Amartey threatening to knock him out. He's got 4. Hayward's got 4. And they have their biggest margin of the game, the Swans.
Tim Zoo might be sitting at home watching this for inspiration. He'd be happy his fight goes in the same direction as the Sydney Swans game. They've been fantastic tonight. Just really, they come with a plan, been able to start to execute it. They've got the confidence up after that courageous win against Fremantle over in Perth. But tonight they've taken it to another level. The forwards have started to get involved. Marty's 3rd goal there. Hayward's kicked 4.
So the clearances this quarter, Brownie, are 7-1 in favour of the Sydney Swans. They've marked the ball from opposition 4 times, so they win clearance. Centre bounce clearance, forwards get it forward. Anytime the North come out, they kick down the throat of the Sydney defenders. 4 marks to none from opposition kicks. Ball goes.
See the subs being made down here, guys, with Riley Hardman on, and obviously Whitlock coming off. So hope his brother didn't come all this way to only see a quarter.
I think he'd still be pretty proud of the twin Moons, as I know you would be in a similar situation. He's got a first taste. Let's hope that he gets many more.
5 goals to 2 behinds for the term the way of the Swans. And there's Bice.
I like him.
He looks comfortable, doesn't he? Now Heaney. Seems to do a bit of space. McLean dishes off by hand. Campbell's already kicked one long running goal. Squeezes the ball inside to the unlikely forward in Laddams. What's he going to do, Big Pete? Has he got some sizzle for us? No, it goes back to Florent.
This will be the 15th inside 50 for the quarter.
Ollie Florent, a lot of time on the wing this season. Sends at the top of the square. Heaney stays down. Caleb Daniel by hand. Uniac, Stevens, Parker. She's a rare fumble in a dangerous area. Parker's good enough to get it out to McKercher.
They don't know where to go, though. They're well unsure how to number that. That's why they're handballing it around. They cannot kick it. It'll go straight to a Sydney player.
McDonald. Everything under pressure to Hanson Jr. And Miami Boss is everywhere. Got a hand on that and thumped it out.
It's only taking you till the end of the 3rd quarter, Wayne.
A lot of good footy people say there is enough talent around in the lesser leagues if you go looking for it. And this guy is an example of that. He looks like he's played 100 games.
24-year-old, first season in the AFL. Pick 41 in last year's draft. That was the pick they got for the Luke Parker trade. And Luke Parker's old number 26 and looks the goods in the scramble.
Well, maybe it's an indicator of how much they rated him by giving Luke Parker's number.
Maybe.
Is he one of the club greats? Premiership player.
Heaney starting to break clear. What a kick that is.
Heaney's made some ground today. You know, he's up to 6 clearances now. Just getting on the move, those dangerous breakaway clearances. They get Heaney and Warner with those sort of clearances as the year goes on, and hopefully Goulden later on in the season. They're going to be a very powerful midfield group again. Add in Braden Campbell, who's had a couple of nice clearances as well.
Hanley, he looks a lot like the man who's replaced Tom Papley, plays a similar game. Love to have that career. 4th match, couple of career goals. Just hooks it back nicely. Went left, came back to the right. 6 for the turn for the Swans.
It's if you're a Swan supporter, you're loving this because the only area that you struggled in the first half was clearance, and you've absolutely cleaned that up in this 3rd quarter. But Brownie, I want to talk about midfielders that get footy, and some get 30, some get 35, some get 40. Isaac Heaney's better off getting low 20s if he gets reward for it. You can amass a huge amount of possessions. In the end, it can work against you if you don't use it properly. That sort of kick there elevates any midfielder once again. So I'd rather Isaac Heaney ends up with 15, 18 touches a game than 30 if he can get reward for his possessions like he did there. Great kick from Hanley too.
Heaney, the number 1 rated player on the ground as it stands right now with 17 possessions to his name. There's quite a few out there with more possessions than that next to theirs from the ball up. Tackle away by Parker.
It's not awful Parker trying to get his body against Isaac Heaney. Hasn't really eventuated.
Cleary. Heaney again being hunted down. Oh, he shrugs her half with ease. Spear pass, not quite cut off. So just on Hardiman. First attempt at getting himself in possession. He's the sub that's on, so he hasn't got a lot of experience either. This is game 4. Anson Jr. has it at half back.
There's the short option to Scott.
Now, Howie, they've given up 5 marks from opposition kicks here in the North in this quarter. That's a good result.
It's good for Darling with a 1-on-1. Larky's deep. He's had a tough night on McCartan. Steps, goes by hand. McKercher centering to a dangerous area. Curtis flies. Parker's got 1 against his old team. He's got 2. A more subdued celebration, but finally the Roos get on the board for the turn.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of that. The ball's gone from one end of the ground to the other for North Melbourne on offence. That time they get it through. With luck, to see him hit the scoreboard, Luke Parker. But any time McKerch has been able to get that ball, I feel like something's happened. But Sydney's defence all across the board has been outstanding. We've spoken about it several times throughout the game. Where do you go from here if you're North Melbourne?
Well, you can't just give the game away. I think.
No, you can't.
We've had enough of that North Melbourne, and North Melbourne supporters have had enough of that North Melbourne who end up just getting pushed aside.
And they would have arrived today with real hope and expectation.
That's the difference. It's just 52 points the margin here. You just can't afford to have this blow out to 75 plus. So where you go from here is you fight, you dig in, and your belief hopefully get you some respectability.
Starts with a clearance, they get that. Simpkin. Curtis couldn't quite trap it. Boss again, clean-handed. And here goes Blakey. Short to Grundy. That North goal broke a run of 7 goals in a row to the Swans.
That's not good for Simpkin.
Moons will do it on that. Yeah, wow. Moons will give us an update there. They've already used their sub, obviously. Hardiman on. Children, the sub for the Swans, yet to be injected. Jordan.
So, as Luke Davies-Uniacke in the first half, Harry Sheasel goes nuts, so he rolls over. Sheasel's had 7 touches. He's injured for... Oh, it's a leg. It's one of those. It's a knee. Ooh. Either way.
He had that ankle dragged under him as he came down.
James Jordan. Every game since joining the Swans, he bends that back. Too much. Yeah, he doesn't look too happy, Josh Simpkin.
Just like syndesmosis territory. I know we don't all like to be doctors, but
The double whammy too as his knee dug in the turf. Hanson Jr. Nice little step. Provides a bit of spark. Blakey with a big fist. There's Bice, who just looks so comfortable, as Gary and John have pointed out. Ramping back laterally. Grundy had a great contest with Cherry in the ruck. Down to McCartan, who's looked assured down back, Gary.
To be able to add Riley by, like if it's a King Beatson special or someone will take responsibility, to be able to identify him and add him to this side, and he has looked as polished as anyone out on the ground, is just extraordinary. So this is what separates good teams from other teams. They want to if you want to rebuild, you go to the draft and all that sort of stuff, and then you find a gem like this bloke.
Campbell White, he knew you were speaking about him. Here he is. Riley Bice chips it and finds the target again. He hits a target every time. Chad Warner this time.
He's got the likes of Bice and Braden Campbell in the front half, delivering balls inside 50, guys. Dangerous combination.
Really, this kid is he's a kid. So he just started his footy career. This is the exciting part of this. He's played 2 games of footy. What do you got for me, Howie, in that little book of yours after he kicks this?
Sneaks it in. Chad Warner slots one. And it's getting ugly.
Chad's been pretty handy as well.
2K time trial, Riley Bice. The state draft combine 6:31, Brown. He said 3 minute 15ers.
Yes, let's tick him over.
Wow.
It's okay. Gaz used to do that in his heyday, though.
For 2K?
On the bike. I can't speak highly enough for this bloke. He's the leading possession winner on the ground from a Sydney point of view, he and Jake Lloyd. And he gets, I just spoke about Heaney getting value for possessions, or any player in the competition. It's good. Win your own ball. It's a hard thing to do. This is a competitive game. You've always got someone that wants to get the footy off you. So you win it. But then what you do with it has never, ever been more important. And they pick this bloke from nowhere. He comes from nowhere and slots in seamlessly.
Swans fan as a kid growing up as well, Riley Bice. So he's living out his dream. It's been the long route, but he's here now. He's arrived with a bang. Big term that for the Swans. 7 goals to 1. They're up by 22 at half-time. They've blown it out to a 59-point margin at three-quarter time. Sydney 15-8, 98. North 6-3, 39. 59-point three-quarter time margin.
Well, there we go, folks. Three-quarter time, 59 points. The Swans have extended their lead here. Looking like they're going to go on for a big victory over North Melbourne here at Marvel Stadium. I think Jack in the chat. How you doing, Jack? I think it's be a happy man there. Sydney are going quite well. Good to see Sydney got their game all going well together, and it's on track for them this year, I must say. I tell you what, they've had plenty of years to make it to the grand final and take home the big cup. Let's see if this year can be their year. We're only a couple of minutes away, 3 or 4 minutes away before the bounce of the ball, and the commentators are back. Let's just have a quick look at the stats again. We'll check out the goal scorers. There's quite a few. We've got, look at that, multiple goal scorers for Sydney. Will Hayward, Joel Armity, both with 4. A nice third term there. Chad Warner with 2. He's come, kicked a couple, put one in that. He's lifted his game a bit. Peter Adams, Tom Hanley, Oliver Florent, Braden Campbell, single goal scorers for Sydney, and of course North Melbourne. Luke Parker, Paul Curtis, the multiple goal scorers with 2 each. Cameron Zerha, 1. Colby McKercher with 1. And that is it. Let's have a look at the disposal count and see where, well, Harry Sneasel, 28. I'm just going to reload that. I want to double check that that's correct. Is that correct? That's correct. Harry Sneasel up to 28. Son of a gun, isn't he, eh? 28, Harry Sneasel. Leads by a 6 on the disposal count from Caleb Daniel, 22. Luke Parker, 20. Jake Lloyd, Riley Bice, both on 20 for Sydney Swans. Sydney like to share the ball around reasonably even. Isaac Heaney, And not too bad. 18 possessions, 13 kicks, 5 handballs, going along nicely. Brody Grundy having a bit better third term there, up to 16. So that's really good. Luke McDonald there for North, up to 13. As we keep on scrolling down, we are just about back with the commentators who will roll us into the final term. Chad Warner, a quiet game on his standards, of course, with a 10 disposals, 6 kicks, 2 goals. He might just come alight in the final term, as he certainly can. Joel Armony, though, he's got his kicking boot on today, as I said, with the 8 disposals, 7 kicks, 4 goals, 1. It's not a bad return, is it? That's what you like to see from your forwards. Some good scoring like that when you have your kick. Take the opportunity when it presents itself. It's exactly what they need. All right. Will North Melbourne in the final term, will they give up the ghost? Will they throw the towel in? Will they let Sydney just run away? Or will they put up a little bit of a fight and at least, have something to play for going into next week's gather round? Can Sydney really put the hammer down on North Melbourne and run away with this game? Can they continue their good form? So far, they've showed in the first 3 quarters here. We'll just have to wait and see in just under 2 minutes' time, folks, because then we're heading into the final quarter. Don't forget to vote who's going to win this game. I know it's a big margin. 75% say Sydney Swans. The margin might be a little bit too grand for North Melbourne to fight back. But as I said, let's just hope they can show a little bit of grit, a little bit of fight, and do something in the final quarter. All right, let's get back down with the commentators, and they'll take us into the final quarter.
Quarter time at Marvel Stadium, the story of the game so far. Sydney Swans kicked the first 3 goals, 2 of the game before North Melbourne even scored. That was essentially the margin at quarter time when they led by 21 and half time when they led by 22. And then the team that won the minor premiership last year, the Swans, put the foot down in the third. And the margin's been pushed out to 59 points with a quarter to play. What have you made of it, guys?
Superb by the Swans in the third quarter. They just owned the game. We spoke at half time about a clearance game versus a turnover game. Well, when you take away the strength of North in the first half, that's what happens. 10-3. Scores from stoppage, all of a sudden goes Sydney's way. North Melbourne can't win a stoppage. You can't score from stoppage. Where do you turn to from there if you're a North Melbourne player? Forward half intercept, so pressure on. 5-zip. Can't move the footy from one end of the ground to the other, Brownie. Uncontested marks that quarter, 39-23. Can't get any pressure on the opposition. That's why you give up 7 goals to 1.
And that's an extremely high number, 8-1. 8 marks inside 50 for the quarter. So Sydney have averaged that for the game this season. That's look, Sydney have been really impressive. I've been impressed. The game's starting to come together under a new coach and Dean Cox. Obviously had a challenging start to the season, but also North's a bit disappointing as well. Just some of the really poor mistakes, just the ability to compete and fight around the stoppage in the contest. The pressure's really dropped off, guys. So need something here. Need to at least win the quarter, walk away with something.
Adams and Cherry in the ruck to get things underway. Final term. Super Saturday Live. Another clearance. Away are the Swans. Aaron hand pass. Looks like Sheldrick's on. The sub. Another sub, Hardiman involved.
Yeah, well, it's a big sub. I think Moons, I'm sure he's all over it down the ground. Who's come off, Moons?
Looks like Chad's just having a little breakdown here at the moment, Gaz. I think he's just said, you know what, I've done enough.
Exactly.
Friday night gather round v Collingwood, so a pretty quick turnaround for the Swans. Davies Uniac, Hardiman.
Isaac Heaney's on his haunches too.
Yeah, Simpkin looks okay after that knock to the ankle and the knee. Hardiman juggles it back to Simpkin. Florent stops the chain.
He's got up Isaac, so for Swan supporters who might be worrying, he's okay. He might have just got himself winded. He's looks fine. No, there's the bump there. He's jumping about, the star.
Swans coming off the bye, so they've come into this rested. That short turnaround the next week. Parker floats it out in front of Curtis. See if he gets the pop bounce. He does, but being pursued. Been a brilliant addition to their defence, Wicks. He was sensational there. Rampy, and here they go. They've been rampant. The Swans, short to Sheldrick. Essentially recruited as a guy that they were hoping to replace Luke Parker. Now they move it with a bit more precision. Laddams, Bice. Oh, that's a delight. That is ridiculously good.
I'll tell you what, seventh inside 50 today, Rolly Bice, and he's hit every one of them.
Number one, standing. No one's put it inside 50 more than him on the ground. In fact, no one's got close to him. And the off-the-ball kick, off-the-line kick.
Forward's great. He has it forward. I'm getting in his pocket during the week. So there's still a few.
You're taking him out for a coffee.
Now I'm paying for it.
We'll be asking you any more like you at Werribee. Hanley can't finish off his good work though. Behind.
Yeah, well, Tristan Sherry worked hard to get down into the hole to give some support, but then they just used Laddams on the way through. They're in tune, this Sydney Swans team. Play what's in front of you. If you want to go behind the footy, we'll use your man on the way through.
Call wants someone to come towards him. Good diving Mark Darling takes a chunk. And the marble turf, there it is. Use a big old divot there, need the sand bucket.
There used to be a sandpit here. How long ago?
You be careful saying things like that. Took a broadcaster off air statements like that back in the day, Brownie.
Oh yes, did too. They don't do a magnificent job now.
It's a bit late now.
Gee, beep.
Different owners now, I think, too, Brownie.
Yes, I think so. Well, they've got the hydroponic lights, haven't they? They've just got the grass and magnificent.
Sherry, Laddams, Jordan, Roberts, Laddams again. Oh, sure what he's going to do, and he takes a sneaky little bounce. Big P. He's provided some entertainment tonight. Florent Campbell steps through a couple, spreads it further wide. McCartan's drifted down. Here's the important kick towards a Marty. It's the pack hard. North under pressure in every possession at the moment.
Look at where it's been a fair difference, hasn't it? Especially in the second half. Goes the territory 44-29 inside 50. So North are not going to be able to put up a decent score with only 29 entries. And the tackle count too. You're actually getting flogged on the scoreboard, and you're beaten in the tackling as well. So I think that meant Alistair Clark's will be disappointed with North Melbourne's ability to press the opposition.
North have the Gold Coast in the Barossa next week for gather round. Mentioned Collingwood is Sydney's opponent for gather round next week. Sherry got there late. Good pick up from Powell. LDU tried to step through traffic. He spun out of a jam magnificently. Heads to Constanti. Thumped away by Lloyd. Umpire said it was a legal thump away. A couple of Swans looked at each other to see who was going. Corey Warner barreled.
Just compare that Lloyd effort there to the way that he refused to concede ground on the way out, and how easy it is for Sydney to find a free man with their North Melbourne opponent who just gives them 10 or 15 metres. And Jake Lloyd said no, we're 60 points up, and he just closed down and spoiled it, got it out of bounds and stays inside forward 50. There's the difference in a nutshell.
10-goal margin. Heaney doesn't really have possession. Oh, bursting through. Man that came on as a sub. Too easy. Angus Sheldrick on the board. And the Swans doing an absolute number on North now.
Okay, so this is the end result, Brownie, and this is, you know, if the Kangaroo fans are going, why? Well, this is the difference. The goal in the end, so ball here, we end up getting a stoppage as a result of this, and the goal gets scored. But the play that I wanted to see was the closing down of Jake Lloyd as the ball's coming out of their defensive half. You don't kick this goal if Jake Lloyd doesn't make a decision to go, no, you know what? Despite being 10 goals down, I'm going to bust my guts and get a fist in. I won't get a stat. I won't be in the highlight reel, but I'll just get my fist in and get the ball out of bounds. And that's the play there. Ball stays in the half. They get a goal as a result.
That's a team defence. We spoke about all throughout the call, guys. They've been really well connected. The defenders, wingers have pushed down to take out those outlet kicks.
Sheldrick locking in a spot, maybe as the sub. He's been sub 2 weeks in a row, 2 games in a row now. Got a handball, flick handball up there, but couldn't find a teammate with it. Sherry loops it. Hardiman, through the hands of Harry. Hardiman mops it up. And a chip. Parker, Powell, Lark Blanky on the move. It's out in front. Zerha got up with one hand. Hits the deck. Scott. Zerha. Hunted down. Bang! He didn't have any peripheral vision there. And a Hayward making some hay while the sun's shining. He has played a brilliant game as a forward. Helps out in defence.
Kick for Hayward. As has a Marty. Have a look at this tackle. Bang! No vision peripherally there. They play around with it on the wing. And in the end, they send it out of bounds. On the full. Try to reset quickly. Sheasel, probably been north best to Tucker. McKercher, back to Harry. LD has to wait. Slick hands back to McKercher. Oh, that's good. Harry had about 4 touches in the chain.
It's an impressive kick, McKercher, isn't it? It's been on display a few times today. And just get the ball in these boys' hands, especially in the front half, North Melbourne.
On a BNF in his first season. Just the 5th player to win a BNF in the comp's history. Under 19 years of age. Goes inside. Clearing kick.
Dangerous.
Dangerous area. Swans.
Adams a sneaky chance. Jordan likewise tied away. Tucker. Hardiman all the way back to go forward to low.
Little Adams has looked like a big version of Nick Blakey at times today. His ability to get down and he takes a couple of kicks that you wouldn't normally expect from the big fella.
But Larky get there to make a contest. He edged McCartan on the ball. Feeds back onto it. Gathers gave it up. Constanti. Dan Step didn't quite work. Larky hunted down as well. They're all doing it. Rampy rampant.
Yeah, it's been sensational. Great buy-in from all the players today from Sydney. Buy into the team defence and offensively, obviously, they've been able to cash in and get rewarded, guys.
They're 11 goals up round here. They're playing this like they're 2 points behind the grand final, the pressure they're putting on.
Parker's kicked a couple. Snaps it back around the face.
And it's been terrific. Been a really good night from Sydney. Had to work hard for it. You know, halfway through the second quarter, it was around the 15-point margin. They cracked it open in the third quarter, and now they look to cash in. And it's been equally as disappointing for this Kangaroo side, who we expect to have taken a bigger step than this.
Still some serious names to come back into this Sydney side as well. Stevens.
One of them,
Yeah,
Gerald
it's good
Gould.
point. You'd argue there's 7 or 8 players in their best 22. You go through the names, Taylor Adams, Cunningham, they've got a couple there, McInerney, Papley, Goulden, as you spoke about, Malik and Mills, the captain. Pretty handy players there, boys.
Left-footed Errol Goulden just running along the wing. They just picked up Riley Bice just to come in and left foot run along the outer wing from half back.
Robot on around his body toward the wing, and Core dropped it. Coleman gets it, and he made it McDonald's problem there.
Been great, Will Hayward. Had a fantastic evening. 4 goals, 1, worked super hard.
Hurt himself with the tackle there. He went as hard as he possibly could despite the scoreline. Sherry and Grundy to do it again. Sherry, front spot, knocked it down. Howell hasn't quite had the impact that he's had so far this season. Cleary, Rowbottom, good handoff, Sheldrick. Roberts, Jordan, Sheldrick, dance step, delightful. Can he hit a target? He hits target.
Hard running lead. Been impressive as this man can stand. He's tried hard all night.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, he's given that insufficient intent. That was an accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a mistake by the umpire.
Blakey having to just kick down the line. Lowe's in best position. Amati with the spoil. Sheldrick's had an impact since he came on. And as far as Dylan Stevens. Sends it to the outer side. McDonald now Comben.
There's a bouncer, big man. And dropped it on the deck. Stevens again. McKercher. Not lot to go too long, so I had to flick it to Hanson Jr. They're coming at him. He overlapped the Zerha. Ran to a brick wall in Bice. Carlton, Roberts, Wicks. And I'll do it all again. Chip into the middle of Hayward. Goes and gets in. Trails Tucker. On the wrong foot. Kicked it to Lloyd. They are enjoying their afternoon at the office at the moment, the Swans.
Haven't taken the side. Sorry, Dwayne. Haven't taken the foot off, have they? Not for a second here. Working as hard defensively as they are offensively.
59 points at three-quarter time after a 7-goal-to-1 terms. Extended out to 66 points. Once again, could be a few more yet. Core Amati, who's kicked 4, taps it down to the advantage of Rowbottom. Captain tonight. James by hand. Sheldrick racking them up. The run continues through Lloyd. He's got Sheldrick on. Lloyd hits 50. Fancied it himself. Jake Lloyd. Nearly.
Luke Davies-Uniacke going to spot a bottle behind play as well. He's hobbling and might have to come off.
Looks all right, man.
Yeah. McKercher wide. Sheasel cutting down his biggest possession game of his career, short to Powell. Parker, Slick. McDonald got the short on. LDU found something when the ball was coming his way. Around his body. Curtis waits for the skip bounce. Hits the pause button. Hits the pass target in the pocket and Standy. Talked about it a bit against his old team this evening. Jacob Costanti on the Swans list for 2 years, didn't get a game there. This game 4, and every game this year since joining North. Luke Parker and he coming together from the Swans. Balls out to the near side.
Not many positives though. We're trying to look for positive as a North Melbourne supporter. So Castani, yep, I think he's got some talent. He's certainly got something to add to this team. Sheasel's obviously been fantastic, as his best game of the season. With Parker, you can't question the veteran against his old club. Not many other winners though.
Carlton's looked assured all night.
Speaking of winners,
yep.
He's taken Nick Larkey and given Nick Larkey as bigger belting from a footy sense as he's had for a long time. He hasn't scored, Nick Larkey. Not a single point.
So far this season he's kicked 4, 3 and 5.
Sheldrick hums one in towards Amati, brought down. And pass whipped out by Tom Hanley. A retained possession through Cleary. Campbell makes 2 tackles, hand passes towards Grundy. He wants to get it out to Heaney. He doesn't quite get that far. He'll have another go at it. Coming back the other way is McKercher. Looks assured always with ball in hand. And now spread out wide again to Stevens.
Well, he's given that 50 against Bryce. Just flipped it out of Simpkins' hands. It was a bang-bang mark and knock away, but umpire cut him no slack, and that's a mongrel shot toward Paul Curtis, and Rampy cut it off with ease.
So that's your captain, and that's just not caring enough with the way you use the footy, and that's a challenge. Shai Simpkins had a great year to date, but it's pretty indicative of where they're at.
Through the legs of Common, that's pretty indicative as well. McLean to Amati. Got up there. Just in time, Cole was able to get it away from his grasp. All in.
A huge game next Friday night, Sydney Collingwood.
Yeah.
You got to really look forward to that. They'd be confident. Obviously, Collingwood's been in red hot form as well. Sydney this is the best they've played this season. Certainly all come together defensively. They've been outstanding, and obviously they've been able to hit the scoreboard, especially in the second half.
Cherry spirals one out of defence. The other round kicks off Thursday night. Adelaide versus Geelong. Adelaide going down by a point to Gold Coast today. Here they come again, the Swans.
Again, just sitting off your man. Well, not blaming Tristan Sherry. He's had 7 clearances. Sherry's been wholehearted again. You don't expect him to be closing down James Jordan, but too many easy exits for them. Just find a man at will, they can, the Swans.
Jordan doesn't want the shot. And he just drops it to a dangerous area. McLean nearly, Comben, Daniel, Simpkin. That's better by foot.
So Sherry could have given that, but he elected not to. Sheasel, possession 33. McDonald. McKercher. Swans just bolting back a bit. Core inside kick, McDonald.
Remember what Al Clarkson told Cam Mooney at half time? He said they just have forced us wide all night. Haven't given us access to the corridor, just keep pushing us wide and pushing us wide.
Sheridan Simpkin. Daniel in the middle of the traffic. McLean getting back. Got a hand on it. Knocked it to Grundy. Weaves his way through them. Corey Warner. Little drop step was fantastic to watch. Pokes the kick. Or too high for Cleary. And now the cavalry arrives for the Swans. Campbell comes. Oh, that's a great lockdown tackle.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. Wide, 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 wide. Finally they go, oh, we'll have to have a shot at the corridor, and they close them down and turn it over.
They're sitting back there, intercept.
51 inside, 50s, 34 the way of the Swans, a plus 17 in attack. They're all just dropping off Roberts. Lloyd, possession number 24.
It's fair to say it has been an uncontested game. Both teams have taken, well, Sydney have taken 100 uncontested marks and North have taken 99.
Marky misses a grab. Caleb Daniel tries to fashion something inboard. Might work out the power to Sheasel. Unusual little kick, but it works out. Here's some flow through the middle of the ground. McKercher saw red jumpers ahead. Davies Uniac missed McKercher. Now they miss Simpkin, so they're away. Just made a bit of a mess of it. Can Simpkin do something? He's got the overrun in Parker. Takes a bounce to Luke. And sends it deep forward. Darling went early. And there he is again. Riley Bice. He's dominating this affair.
Number one intercept player on the ground. So add that to his ball use and his run and the fact that he's still the number one inside 50 player. I think he is on the ground.
The top 7.
24 disposals. And 83%.
Had some night.
The Bice man.
Yeah, it's a great story, really. 24 years of age, and just goes to show that it's not over if you don't get picked up in the draft as an 18, 19-year-old.
Well, there'll be country footy players, there'll be some urban VFL players watching this going right up.
Yeah.
You can't kick game on.
Play is probably the mantra as well. He's a brilliant user of the ball, and he sits that nicely, just floated it out in front of Corey Warner so he could catch it like a butterfly.
Only Harry Sheets has had more footy than him as well.
Kicking's been a highlight, hasn't it?
Yeah. We saw Will White Thursday night, country boy, last year. I actually coached him in the interleague last year.
No wonder you brought him up.
Just put the finishing touches on him.
Can you believe it's taken to the 20-minute mark of the last quarter?
I can't believe we fell in.
He's licensed himself.
Boys, you should have known that, Gary. Your dad used to play for him.
Heaney taps it to his own advantage, goes in to collect it. Davies Uniac, Parker, Daniel, Corey Warner from outside 50. McLean's in a dangerous area. Combiner Rice does well to spoil. Not infringe. Core, McDonald. Back to Combin. Core, not the required. Thought about going down the middle, then decided to go wide and does so effectively to Simpkin.
A lot of things to be impressed about tonight. The way that Sydney continue to push here and their defensive running, it's if you're at the ground, you'll see how hard they're working defensively. They got the game won to the tune of 65 points here, but every one of them, from the first and second, third game into the Star, working so hard defensively in this last quarter.
North haven't led tonight. Sydney's really owned it. Kicked the first 3 goals, 2 of the game, and haven't looked back.
Look at this, 2, 3 at the footy.
Yeah, it's brilliant, regardless of the scoreline. Children, well, he's playing for his footy life. He's come on as a sub. The last 2 games, he's trying to get himself into the 22 or the 18, or maybe the midfield 4.
You know what it says too, though? It says that the coach has got to them.
Yeah.
That Dean Cox has, taken over. He's got it where he wants it. He's got a playing group that are invested in what he wants to do as a brand new AFL coach.
McLean hands it off. Cleary feeds it on Adams. It's fun to watch. He floats it beautifully out in front. Bang. Handling took the mark, even though McDonald cut him down.
Also the value of the early season buy, Gaz. Especially with the coach. And I know Dan Cox been the Swans for a few years, but he's now the head coach, so he's going to want to put his different stamp on his team. So you have your first 3 games. Okay, boys, let's sit here and review. We've got time on our week off. Review what's working, what's not, what do we need to tinker with, and you feel like it's all come together today.
Tom Hanley is another mid-season rookie draft pickup. And the Swans have found a few. He's got a couple.
Yeah, very good. Great to see. Boss has got most of the attention, certainly from us boys up here, but good to see Hanley get on the board as well. They'll be looking, there's opportunities when senior players are not out there. There could be 7 or 8 Sydney players in the best 22 that are not out there through injuries. So opportunity for the younger ones. What's your depth like on your list? You're going to be needed late in the season. 2 in replacement of injured players. We've shown some good signs.
This is another team, and the good teams up towards the top part of the ladder are all good kicks. So we'll just see this. McCurcher comes in and knocks the footy out. So might be harsh, but Roberts goes back and converts. He's a beautiful kick. They got stacks of them as well.
Josh thinking they'd be disappointed today, captain. He's had a good season so far, guys, but today 13 kicks at 49%, 46%. So, you just need to do a better job with that, the ball use.
And Dean Cox will be enjoying this. His other victories have been by, I think it was 3 points or 4 points, was it? I think it was
2 points with 3 men.
3 men with 3, and then they lost by 4 to the line. So this has been a bit more relaxing.
Darling towards Curtis. Here he goes, the 74.6% man.
Tom McCartney. I tell you who will be filthy about this. About a minute and a half ago, Tom McCartney was going to walk off here. I kept Nick Larkey to nothing. He might end up with 2.
So there's the pointing of the ball. Squeeze it in. I think takes 6 steps and then a couple of skips.
10 spins of the footy.
Yep. There's the 6 steps, a couple of skips. And if all is on target, that percentage is increasing. So 2 late ones for the dead-eye dictatorial Nick Larkey.
Yeah, very good there. And doesn't over-kick it as well. Just feels like that broadens his margin for error.
Yeah, he's of the belief that if he kicks it at 80% and it doesn't hit his foot spot on, it'll correct itself in the air. That's his theory.
Yeah, well, it works for him.
Once his footy's over, he can make a lot of money if he can go out and coach this.
He can coach.
And become a goal kicking, especially AFL, maestro. Well, he's had one of his poorer nights probably in his career, Nick Larkey, but what he is, he's wholehearted and he keeps trying.
Yeah, he always does.
He will keep presenting.
He's a fantastic character.
Yep, he is.
A few seconds remaining from the flick down. Rowbottom pounced on. Howell got him. Campbell hands it up. Sheldrick chips it. Maybe one last one. Low. Caught. Got a kick away. Coleman comes hard. Wobbles it wide, but Florent will cut it off and have the last say of the evening.
Didn't kick this. He's got the distance in his leg. Had a big first half, Ollie Florent. Number 17 disposals. He's kicked the goal.
That was just pressure again, though, wasn't it? Just forward pressure, refusing to concede an easy out.
To add one more to the scoreline. Blasts it long, brings it back a little, and it doesn't score. The Sydney Swans lost their first 2 games this season, but the real Sydney stood up tonight. A demolition job on North Melbourne. 65 points to margin, 18-9, 117 to 8-4, 52.
Some great storylines coming out of this game. That man Riley Bice is going to be a big story, I reckon. They are back and they played in a style and a manner that suggests that they are going to have a bit of a say in this competition still. They played in the grand final, had a disappointing result. A little change of personnel, players that have got some fire burning in them, and as impressive as they were, the Kangaroos were just disappointing.
Yeah, they haven't embarrassed themselves this year, obviously, Alistair Clarkson. Well, perplexed he may be. He's certainly experienced enough to handle this and be able to bring his team back. He'd be disappointed with the way it eventuated today, but say Sydney have been Probably been better than their 1-2 record, but Moons is down there with a player that dominated today, Will Hayward.
Well, we're just talking, just starting to really get it together, starting to click after a bit of a slow start.
Yeah, it was. It's been good. It's awesome for the team. I think last week was last week before the bye. Obviously, getting that win for Coxie over in Freo was awesome for us, and yeah, we just carried that momentum, and the boys looking good.
What was it tonight? I mean, you just seemed to completely own the corridor defensively, push them wide, and then on the turnover, straight back through the middle. Is that the plan?
Yeah, it was a big focus. They moved the ball really well when they switched, so they've got some good ball users back there as well. So we tried to take care of them and yeah, hurt them on turnover.
Your own form, mate. Nice couple of goals.
Yeah, it was good. Started the year pretty slow, so it's good to have a decent game and get into it now.
As a forward, we always love kicking goals, but as a forward, we do love a chase down tackle. Was that a little bit nice?
Yeah, that was nice on Zer. He's a great fellow as well. So it was good fun. And, yeah, so usually how I try and start my game is from the defensive stuff. So it's a bit of a focus especially when you're out of form.
Has Tommy McCartan basically just said to the coach, "I think I'm a defender"?
He actually prefers it up forward, to be honest. He wishes he was up here, but he's too good down back. So we're really lucky to have him. He can play at both ends really well.
How hard was it to play against Lukey Parker?
It was hard. I haven't actually had the chance to see him yet, so I'll catch up with him after. But yeah, so much respect for him. He's an absolute legend of our club, and yeah, it's good to see him doing well.
Just quickly, I'm going to go talk to Riley Bice. What can you give me?
Not much. He's just lethal with that left foot. He's a quiet guy, but yeah, absolute assassin for us. Bloody great pickup.
Right on, brother. Go and enjoy.
It's the captain, Jai Sipkin, in there, in amongst that huddle. And you can imagine what's being said. That they take some. This is a really hard climb up a respect ladder, we used to call it. You've got to climb really hard to get up one rung, Brownie, and then you can slip three. And they lost a little bit today. I don't think there's any question about that. We were all pretty positive and buoyant coming in today, thinking this was going to be a good contest, but they couldn't quite get there. And well, this is the story of the match from Iron Moons. You've got the man, Riley Bice, who's just about the best player on the ground.
Well, I've got your favourite, Gaz, Riley. I mean, we just spoke then off air. We just said, did you actually think you'd be here? A boy from the O&M, you came through the Bush Rangers O&M, you've gone to Werribee, here you are, almost best on ground, if not best on ground in your second game.
No, definitely wouldn't have thought I'd been here. Obviously, not too long ago I was just playing local footy, but yeah, it's grateful for the opportunity and yeah, massive win tonight. It's awesome.
When you're 23 years of age, 24 years of age, did you think the hope was gone?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, definitely, probably. But I think probably had a few people in my corner sort of pushing me and yeah, here now, I guess. So yeah, grateful.
Well, how important were the people at Werribee for you to get here?
Yeah, massive. Like, I went down there probably not really sure what was going to happen, and yeah, the coaching staff, everyone there was just awesome. Gave me the confidence to play the way I play, and yeah, so grateful for them.
They talk about that lethal left foot of yours. Has that been something you've been working on, or has this just been new to your whole? Mate, you're about to be a Sydney favourite, mate. Go down there and enjoy it, buddy. Well done.
Well done to Riley Bice. Pretty relaxed character, Gary. Run us through his numbers.
Well, he's the third highest rated player on the ground. He put it inside 50 more times than anyone on the ground. He's playing half-back flank. He took more intercept marks than anyone else on the ground, and he kicked the ball at 85%. So my question to you three wise gentlemen, and I love recruiting, I love the recruiting game, and I love the talent identification game. I'm not in it, of course, I just love observing it. How do you miss this ball? How does he get through to 24? Someone's going to have to explain that. Every club, and this is not a slide on any recruiter, because every single club has had the opportunity to take him over the last 6 years.
I guess the unknown is when players get put in professional environments, how much improvement they've got, and obviously players develop at different rates. They're not all ready to go at the age of 18 years old. It does take other players later, and sometimes they get missed as well, guys. So it's fantastic to see, and hopefully there'll be plenty more.
Have a look at the hair on that chap in the middle, Brownie.
It's good, yeah. It's good mullet.
It's a dark lizard, dark-haired lizard.
I don't know. Good hair, though.
22 working on the weekend. There you go.
Yep,
And this is a tribute to Nick Bakey. What are you looking at, Pop?
No, I'm enjoying.
You wishful thinking.
No, the Bice story is just a great story, and I think that we're seeing more of those stories in the AFL. We're seeing them at a lot of different clubs, and bringing these guys in now. and they are ready-made fits as opposed to recruiting an 18-year-old who might take 3 years.
Well, when you get one like this, who has the impact that he's had in this short period of time, it will encourage others to go, oh, well, let's have a throw at the stumps here. Now, again, as I said, this is not a knock on anyone. I'm just really interested to work out and have the story told, and I'm sure it will be this week, about where he was, and did you look at him and say no? Did you look at him and think, well, he didn't have room? But anyway, he's part of this story. The larger part of it is that the Sydney Swans have come here against a Spruit side, a side that looked to be on the up on a deck that they've played well at, and they've walked away 65-point winners. That's the most impressive thing this afternoon or this evening, and we've got another team who are going to push pretty hard, Brandon.
Renty, yeah, and they did everything that Dean Cox asked them at the start of the season. So this is where we need to improve. So the way they stopped North Melbourne being able to move the ball, and then the way they won contest and really absolutely dominated the contest team, especially in the second half, was really impressive. So tick, tick, tick for all parts of the Sydney Swans game.
Marty there kicked 4, as did Haywood. It was the Swans by 21 at quarter time, 22 at the half. 7 goal to 1 third term, so 59 into 65 in the end. The Swans go 2-2. They play Collingwood next Friday night. Cheer, cheer, the red and the white.
The Sydney Swans with a dominant 65-point win over North Melbourne to move to 2-2 heading into gather round. Welcome to the Saturday Debrief, brought to you by Toyota. Footy's back. Oh, what a feeling. David King, Jack Rewalt, Jay Clark. That is a stunning win by the Swans on the road, and considering their lengthy injury list.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's the thing that the Swans team would come away from, the fact they've got 8 of probably their best team sitting in the grandstand at the moment. Coming into tonight, there were some queries on whether they could get it done against North Melbourne, and certainly they've done it pretty emphatically as well, King.
Bashed them in the middle. They were too tough for them in the middle, where you thought the Kangaroos may have the ascendancy given the Swans outs, and then when the game was in motion, they just looked more organised, they looked more skillful. It was just a separation in class. We'll get to the Kangaroos in a moment, but to celebrate what the Swans have been able to do, to just hang on to this season with the injuries to Mills, Goulden, Papley, McInerney, Adams, Cunningham, all first 18 players is quite remarkable. So all congratulations goes to Dean Cox.
They looked to do it easy, too. I mean, there was barely a whimper there from North Melbourne. I thought we'd seen the last of these sort of losses. I know we want to celebrate the Swans, but North Melbourne are a story now. I mean, they'll get the blowtorch this week. They got the credits in the bank after the win over Melbourne, but they lost all those tonight. I mean, on form, Gold Coast will destroy them next week. So I think it's going to be a big week for the North Melbourne football club.
We'll delve deeper into North Melbourne, but let's celebrate the Swans, shall we? And the coach, Dean Cox, has been good enough to join us post-game in the change rooms. Dean, congratulations. I'm not sure what you were expecting heading into tonight, but I doubt it was a 65-point victory. How did the evening unfold from your perspective?
Yeah, very pleased with the effort, Kath. I think, to come here with a really young team and some inexperience in our team, and to perform the way we did, I was really proud of them.
The scoring power is something that really is evident to all of us outside looking in, Dean. The ball movement system tonight just worked to a team. What specifically did you target for tonight's opportunity?
Yeah, King, I think previously the first 3 weeks we played some really good footy teams, but our ability to create turnovers has been really high, but we just haven't had any scoring power off those turnovers. So, throughout the week we spent a lot of time with the players going back to our system and the way we want to play. And, to the boys' credit, they did that really well. We were able to open the ground up, we controlled the footy, we looked lateral at times, we got some deeper entries and some lead-up marks. I think we'd been averaging 7, almost 8 marks inside 50, so it was good to be able to generate a little bit of the ball, but we need to make sure that we address that as we continually move forward.
Second gamer, Riley Bice has had a standout game tonight in his career. 26 disposals and 7 inside 50s. Where did you see him, Dean? And did you think he could have this sort of impact?
Nah, not at all. It's a credit to obviously our recruiters. We spent a lot of time in the off-season talking through players, and what he did at Werribee. He didn't do a pre-season before he went to Werribee, and then played every year in a premiership team. So yeah, he's been phenomenal to come in and do what he's done. He's risen to the level. And on top of that, obviously his ball use is one, but he just works so hard, and he's there to defend first and rebound off the back of that. And tonight he had a phenomenal football game.
Coxie, we know the players you're missing, the boys mentioned before, some of your most important players, but also subbed out tonight, Chatty Warner with just the 10 possessions and 2 goals. I think he flipped the bird to a person in the stand, which could get him a fine as well. But can you talk us through that decision?
Yeah, Chad's been sick. He was sick throughout the night, so it was just a matter of once he got through and we're in a position, we also go into a 6-day break. So I just wanted to be smart with Chad. I spoke to him at 3/4 time and just addressed he wanted to obviously keep playing, but he's really important for our football club, and we need to make sure that we look after him and get him ready for Friday night.
You've obviously been around a long time, but it's different when you're in the senior coaching position. Were you panicking at all during the week when you lose Tom Papley and these injuries were starting to mount?
Yeah, it's not ideal when the physio waits outside the front of your office and then doesn't leave. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I've got to address something here. And yeah, he come in with the news, and I thought, oh, the scan, that'll just happen. And then, from there to get the news was not ideal. So, we need to make sure that, and to the players' credit, without missing some big names, a lot of the younger guys have really stood up and shown that they can play at this level for when they do get back. The competition for spots will be really hot.
Coxie, it looks like a tough job to enjoy. Senior AFL coaching the last couple of weeks clearly put a smile on your face. How are you finding it?
Yeah, you're exactly right, King. I think the ability to be able to, still certainly enjoy. I love, obviously, the injuries haven't been something that you want to have, but, I really enjoy the young kids when they come into the football club and to the football team, and, they can bring a different sort of form of energy, but, we need to make sure that I focus on, what we can control, and that's to try and win games of footy.
What is the biggest difference you're finding going from assistant to senior?
Just the amount of people that want to talk to you about their area. A lot of people think their area is the most important, and then you've got also the messaging. The messaging you've got to give players, the line stuff, you think you're busy at the time, but it's how do you get in the players' minds, look after, how do you manage that throughout the week and give the correct messages and at the right amount at the right time. So, I've loved it.
Tom McCartney's a player that we had a lot of interest in at the start of the year. His tout is playing forward and back. Can you put it to rest? He's done a pretty good job on Nick Larkey tonight. He's a backman, isn't he, Dean?
Yeah, he is at the moment, Jack. So, and that's the thing with Tom. I wanted to make sure as well. He was really excited about the opportunity to play ahead of the ball, and we didn't have Hayden McLean, we didn't have Logan McDonald, so we only had Joel Amati. So, that worked for the period of time. His play was phenomenal tonight. To be able to keep Larkey to 0 shots until the last couple where, Ollie, he took a mark on Ollie Florent, so, and then the last one. So, to do it on a calibre of that sort of player was really pleasing.
You've got Collingwood next week, and Gather Round will be a massive one, Coxie. Just wondering how much feedback you're getting from your great mate Johnny Longmire. He used to just abuse you in the box at times. Are you getting the text messages?
Who's your whipping boy?
Are you ignoring him completely? How's the relationship?
The relationship's still strong. And that's the good part of having the footy club. He's sort of given us some time and space and allowed us to do it our way. So, he will always be a sounding board for me going forward, but it's a little bit quieter up there.
Coxie, I'll bet it is. I'm just doing a list of those most important departments, so they think that they're the one. Is it the mids? Is it the forwards? Is it the backs? Is it the membership? Is it marketing? Or is it still the rucks? Is it still
all of the above, Kingy. I think everyone wants to try and have a piece of your time and try to do whatever they can, so you just got to manage that as well as you possibly can.
Now you've got to head off to the press conference, so we'll let you go. Dean Cox, congratulations. We'll see you Gather Round.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Isn't he a beauty?
All right, folks, there we go. Big winners, Sydney tonight over North Melbourne by 65 points, 18-9, 117 to 8-4-52. Sydney, Dean Coxie said he was pretty happy with the way his players performed out there today. All right, folks, that's all we've got for this. Just before we wrap up, let me give you a look at the leading goal scorers. Of course, Will Hayward and Joel Amati ended up on 4 goals. Chad Warner 2, Luke Parker 2, Nick Lakey 2, Tom Hanley, Paul Curtis, all multiple goal scorers with 2 each. Single goal scorers of the match: Zerha, Shirley, Roberts, McLean, McKercher, Laddams, Florin and Campbell. And of course, the leading disposal getter on the ground, no other than Harry Sneasel there of North Melbourne with 34. Luke Parker, next best, 27. I'll just roll these down just in case anyone's having a look now or later on at the stats. They'll be able to see the possessions. This is the one. This is the disposal count right here in a dark line here. There we have their kicks, their handballs, their marks, their tackles, the hit-outs and clearances, and of course the goals here and behinds, and the AFL fantasy points right next to them, right there. There we go. Nick Blakey ended up on 14. Zerha ended up on 12. Corey Warner on 11. Chad Warner, only 10 possessions. That's pretty rare for the Chad just to have 10, but that was the stats of your favourite players. Thanks, Tino, for hanging in there. All right, folks, that's it. That's me over and out for another day, for another game of footy. And, of course, don't forget, tomorrow, I might not be able to cover any games tomorrow, but there are 3 games on tomorrow. Of course, that's GWS and West Coast Eagles. That's on at 1:10 p.m. Melbourne time tomorrow. Of course, pretty much following that, Port Adelaide and St Kilda over there at Adelaide Oval. 3:20 p.m. Melbourne time. And the final game to wrap up round 4, Fremantle and the Western Bulldogs over there at Optus Stadium in Perth. So it should be pretty good. All right, folks, that's me over now. Well done to everyone in the chat. We did get that. We did get the poll right again. 69% said the Sydney Swans are going to win. Well done, chat. You're on fire with your selections. Good to see. Good to see. All right, folks. That's me over and out on this broadcast of the game between North Melbourne and Sydney Swans. Sydney Swans by 65. Just too good on the day. All right, folks. Ciao for now. We'll see you in the next game.